Welcome to How to Trade during the midday. That is your boy Joey Options, and I'm Sharif. And we're going to wait for everyone to come on over from the other chat, but we're going to show them this screen real quick. This is the Apple news introducing Apple Invites. Womp, womp, womp. A new app that brings people together for life's special moments. Closing window now. That ain't going to move the needle for me, baby. Ram will send you those tickers in a hot second. There we go. We got the OGs coming in. Be free. Let's go. Chef Joe. I didn't mean for that to rhyme, but it did. 100 miles per hour. Shout out to you, my man. We got Jimmy, Joe Smith, and Andrew Bakes Cakes. Love that. Corey Pratt. We got Mo. We got T-Dog. Who else we got? I don't like looking at this camera. Let's throw it up here. Shout out everybody. We got Dr. JD Voice. We got Dad Trader, Donkey Trader, in addition to the Dad Trader. We got Omega Zero. We got Jorge Ramez. We got ABF Key Trades. We got Andre Brooks. We got D Downs. We got Vin 101. We have an OG. We got the Odyssey fights. We got the Piper, Racer X9. Let's move down. Life's Interpretation. Spit them rhymes, baby, he says. We got Eagle Guy. We got S Plus Trader. We got Josh Largan. We got PC, Vizbot, Rares, MBP Mega. Why not? Victor Liu. And then one of the OGs, one of the chat OGs, my main man, Adam Dang Deluce, GI Man, Jay Lee. That is definitely an OG in the chat. And then last, but certainly not least, I like this guy's name, man, because it deals with space. Johnny Quasar, RCAT, having a good day. Absolutely. And the poll is now up, Joseph. You bet your bottom dollar I'm hitting that Palantir, because that thing is making moves. Good morning, Joseph.
Good morning, my guy. How was this trading session thus far for you? All right?
Oh, you know, we start right now.
We're starting right now. Yeah. I mean, like, come on, Palantir. We know Katina Man's really happy about that one. But we were just talking about it, and I'm like, man, when you have growth like that year over year, and then you raise those Q1 outlooks, then sure enough, you're gonna get a positive session. I think 110 today is in the works for Palantir. It may just be a slow grind up there from this point, but I think this thing is still a buy. The PE is still, it may be elevated, but it'll eventually catch up. But again, mentioned fantastic quarter. They're beating on EPS essentially every year. I went back and I looked at the previous quarters, and it's just like, okay, beat estimates, beats estimates, and once again, it beat estimates by about 10-15% or something along those lines, I'm pretty sure as well. So again, I think this thing is still a buy all the way up here at $100. I think a 1.25 is in the near future and going to be under this name, Palantir, brother.
Absolutely. Here are the small cap gappers we're looking at, Joseph. Before, I know you got a solid lesson for us today. My man's going to be talking about advanced options, but guys, there are some movers. You guys kind of already talked about it. I saw you throw that up in the chat. RCAT. Yes, baby, this one is making higher highs and higher lows. It's been on one since yesterday. Have a look at that price action from yesterday. We didn't give much back, if at all. Today, we're actually holding yesterday's high, and we're using that high support. We're going into that $9.75 right now. We could easily see 10 RCAT big boy moves. But the biggest boy of them all goes by the ticker CAPT, and you know, not notionally, obviously, but percentage winner on the day, 230%. This one is currently in an halted at $1.48. I've got all eyes on this one. Let's throw in some others. BKSY, Joseph, another good one over here. Definitely not as parabolic as CAPT. I'm also looking at VLCN, and then I gotta keep my eye on PayPal and Palantir earnings winners and losers today. PayPal, I know Neil had eyes on that. The Katina Man was involved in it this morning. It is at VWAP right now. It's been rejecting off VWAP for the majority of the morning. I was waiting for a possible short sale restricted bounce, SSR bounce. We haven't gotten it quite yet. It's been defending $80 though. We'll talk more about that though once we get into some trading. But for now, your boy Joe. Oh, we got to get this super chat real quick. You can't just drop 10 quid in the chat and then not get acknowledged, Joe.
Like that.
Hey, team. Just wanted to show my midday guys some love. Hit my biggest ever winner by 5 full today. Adair's clapping for you, by the way. Absolutely buzzing. There you go. After a pretty poor day yesterday. It's all right, brother. Short-term memory. Keep grinding. Much love from Scotland. We love you, my man. Shout out to Shabo. We're going to spin the money for you with the Katina man yelling money, 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 because it looks like that's what you did today. Shout out to you and thank you for the $10, £10 super chat.
£10, man, 10 quid there.
My bad.
We love that. Yeah, thank you very much for that super chat. Glad that you had a good one. And that's usually how it works. You have a bad day, stay focused. You come in the next day and you execute. So, Zabo, way to go. Congratulations. Keep up the good work. And yeah, just keep doing what you're doing because it seems to be working. But guys, this is going to be a lengthy one here. Debit spreads. We're just going to get into some basic hedging here for your options contracts, whether it be buying long puts or long calls. So we're going to get right into this one. Excited, guys. Hopefully you take a little bit of this. It's a longer one, so we might have to break it up into two. But let's get the ball rolling and the party started, guys, because it is a hot one today. So what are debit spreads? These are just going to be the basic components, capital requirements, and the benefits, technicals and strategies, calendar and ratio spreads, pretty cool stuff, opening and closing, and most importantly, risk management, guys. All right, so let's get right into this and see what we got cooked up. So debit spreads are an intermediate level options trade that involve executing multiple contracts, okay? So bull call spread and bear put spread are the fundamentals to multiple option strategies. I say this all the time. Most strategies, whether it be the butterfly or the condor, they all consist of some form of spread, whether it be debit or a credit spread, okay? And then once you have the ability to construct these, then essentially you can understand all option strategies, okay? So here we go. The strategy will consist of at least one long option and one short option, okay? That will create the hedge part. The short will create the hedge part of your position. Okay, so the difference between your long call and put and the short call and put is classified as the spread. So if I have let's do Palantir today. I buy a $100 call on Palantir, and I'm like, I want to hedge this position. I don't think it's going to go north of 105, so I sell the 105 call. That creates a $5 net spread. Okay, a $5 credit spread or debit spread. Sorry. Yeah, let's go, John Von Sores. I know you're ready for the debit spread. So construct your debit spread accordingly so you don't create a net credit, all right? So a bull call spread, first off, we want to buy one call of XYZ at $170, and then we sell one call at $175. That will create your spread. And for a bear put spread, you buy one put of XYZ at 160, and then you sell one put at 155. So there's a lot of benefits to this. Yes, it does cap your gains, but it also reduces the cost of the contracts, all right? And also reduces the loss a little bit as well, too. So let's get right into it, guys. This is how you construct a basic debit spread here. So as you can see, we bought those at the monies. The 235 strikes, and those are $10.85. So in options terms, that's $1,085. But hey, that's a little too expensive, so we want to reduce that cost a little bit here. So what we do is we sell that 250 call right here for $4.45, reducing the cost of that net debit, all right? So you can see the probability of profit on this as well too, and the delta and the theta that always kicks in. But this is the whole deal of what you want to do when creating a basic debit spread. Instead of paying $1,085, you're like, I don't want to pay that much, but I still want to capitalize on some of this potential topside movement. Let me sell this call above that, all right? So same thing here for the put side. So what we do is we buy the 225 for $595, or in options terms for $5.95. We're like, that's a little too expensive. I don't want to use that much capital. So what we're going to do is we're going to sell the 205 put as well too, guys. That's a pretty hefty spread now that I look at this. But what we did construct is a $20 spread. So what we see here is we have a max return of $1,574. So as you can see, if you were to just buy that 225 put, then your max loss would be over about $600. But here we reduced it to around $406. So that's the ideal of the debit spread there, guys. All right. So As for capital requirements, are a key feature that draw traders and investors to options. Obviously, we know that it's a leveraged derivative, okay? So one contract equals 100 shares of stock. The cost of the contracts are significantly cheaper than buying outright shares. That's why it draws a lot of individuals. But don't forget, there is always a catch, and that's where theta and time expiration comes into play, all right? So less capital requirements to buy a leap compared to 100 shares of stock, as I just explained. Creating debit spreads reduces the capital requirements, but it also reduces the profit potential. It can't always be a win-win situation for us. The options market have a bunch of smart people, so there has to be a little bit of push and pull in there. You got to give something up in order to gain something there, all right, guys? So moving forward, this is just the expense of a leap. So what do we got here for 36 days? Oh, okay, so this is just a put. So on this Google put here, guys, what we see here is a max return of 16,000. Wow, if I had to read that right. But we also have a max loss of 365, which is really interesting. But there we go. We reduced the cost of this, right, significantly when we construct this spread. We did a $10 wide spread right there, but it also caps our losses, which is really, really key. So if you think that you're slightly bearish on Google for the short term, but you don't want to risk that amount of capital on just buying a long put or call, what you can do is you can now sell an additional contract that will reduce the cost, but also reduce your returns as well. Okay, so you can see the drastic difference in the max return when you do hedge your position, okay? But then you also see that your loss is essentially cut in half. And I mean, Google going to zero in 36 days is highly unlikely. So when you do this, you can definitely increase your probability of profit. So here's a quick question. What is risk of assignment profile like if the stock goes through the short strike? Sir, thank you. That is a fantastic question. So what will happen if it does exceed? Don't forget, you have the rights to those specific contracts, to that underlying at that specific strike price. So what will happen is that you've already made money, so your broker will just exercise it for you and then leave you with cash within your account, the difference between. So you're not at any assignment, risk of assignment, okay? That's what the hedge is for. It eliminates that factor, and your broker will just equal the difference, okay? So same thing here with the calls, guys. 175 calls, 620 bucks, with a max return, $620 loss, probability of profit being 35%. Now we hedged our position $15. Now that max loss has been reduced, but also the max return has been as well too, guys. So, but also a slight increase in the probability of profit on this trade, okay? So here we go. Creating spreads have multiple benefits. If you already have long calls or puts, there are multiple ways you can hedge this position. A ratio and calendar spread are a few of the multiple strategies you can utilize. Now let's get into them. Now we're getting a little bit more complex. We understand how to create a basic debit spread, all right? But now we're going to learn how to manipulate these, all right? And way to go, Bitcoin, let's go. Ratio spread, this is
some talking to do.
We're gonna do ratio spreads, and then we're gonna get into some talking here, Sharif. So ratio spreads, this is a great method to partially hedge your options position. A ratio spread is a simplistic option strategy that involves an imbalance of a balanced ratio of long options to short options. So for example, you have 4 calls of stock XYZ, and you want to partially hedge your position's downside. You sell 2 calls against your long leg, hedging your position at a 2-to-1 ratio of long to short options. This also reduces the cost of the trade, okay? So this is a partial hedge that you can implement. If you don't want to pay that full debit, there's other ways that you can manipulate, especially when you start to buy multiple contracts, okay? So this is what the risk profile would look like here, guys. So we wanted to buy 4 contracts of this stock here. It's going to cost us $3,980, but we're like, whoa, Sharif, this is too much. We don't want to pay all this money here. So what are we going to do here? We're going to partially hedge this position at a 2-to-1 ratio, and we're going to sell 2 calls against it. What does that do? That almost cuts that price in half. So now our max loss and the max debit being paid is around $2,300, all right? So that's the part, and you still have the potential for max return. So you've reduced it, but then you can still benefit from some of these gains there, all right? So calendar spreads, guys. We're going to get back into calendar spreads because we're going to see what's up in this hot market we got going on.
Yes, sir.
And also, if you have any questions, be sure to put them in the chat, and we're going to do our best to answer them.
Absolutely, Joseph. So we're involved in a couple of trades right now. I'm in CAPT. I was caught in an up halt on this one. I already wet my beak there at the high of the day. Now layering my orders into close to $2. Here's the deal. This has to hold that $145 area. So the previous halt levels around $1.50. So it's got to hold this level. Otherwise, I want no smoke. The stop's already in place. Let's see if this one wants to hold up. I almost got caught in a down halt. There was a false halt at around this level right here as it zigs and zags. So we're a little bit out of the money on this one right now as it drops into the 160s. But we're going to give this to about $1.45. Let's see if it holds up at this level. Was able to de-risk on the move up, but still down on it. I'm still in BKSY as well. I've been waiting for that print at 15s. Not forthcoming, despite the fact that level 1 showing me 15s right now. The spread is a little wide on BKSY, so it's not giving you the print unless it crosses substantially above that level on the bid. So we're going to keep tabs on that right now. Still back to CAPT. It's holding generally this area, but it's a bigger move down now that I would really like. So let's see if it holds 60 pennies. If we get a hold at 60 pennies, I don't mind adding on here, but I need to see a higher low and a higher high. It doesn't have to be parabolic. It just has to show me that it's holding up at the area. So I won't DCA into this quite yet right now. I'm talking about CAPT. It's up almost 300%, and it just printed a day high at $1.85. We are out of the money, and by we, I mean me, out of the money on it right now, though, as it zigs and zags down into that level. Look at BKSY. We take out all those prints. Put your resting orders, baby. We just took some out there at 28s, and the high of the day is at 30, I believe. Yes, it is. So now let's set up on the north side over here to account for another possible move up. I'm going to get caught in a down halt, though, on CAPT, which I'm okay with as long as it holds up that 50 penny area. It's still above the 10 exponential moving average, and it's still above VWAP. So I'm willing to give this one room. I want to see if it fills the gap. So far, not filling the gap quite yet. It's always a little unnerving to be caught in a down halt. I was able to de-risk a little bit on it. So we're going to keep tabs on all these names. BKSY is doing well, but pulling back off that high day. It wicked into that 830 quick as you like, and then drop right back down. So those are the ones I'm involved in. Obviously, I'm keeping an eye on RCAT. RCAT just got into 986 and then dropped back down a little bit. So we'll keep tabs on that. But we got to take a quick pause right now.
Time out.
Perfect time while this thing's halted.
Good time.
So before the show came on, Joseph and I were discussing Bitcoin, as you know, often we do. And I said to him, this is a great looking accumulation zone that I perceive to be an accumulation, this sideways movement. So much so that I said to Joseph, look, if Bitcoin doesn't touch 125,000 by my birthday, which is May 25th, the 25th, right? Get it, Dara. All right? Then I will transfer, I didn't even know I could do this. Yeah. I will transfer 2 shares of my IBIT at whatever value they are at the time to Joseph, and Joseph will reciprocate. Here's the deal, though, Joseph. I may not even need to wait till my birthday.
Hey, man.
I may get that early birthday present, baby.
Yeah, that's for sure. The odds are in your favor. But we shook on it. We'll shake on it on air. So
Absolutely.
2 shares of Bitcoin being bet here, guys, to see if it goes to 1.25 by his birthday, May 25th.
And so we both have the same brokerage. He has, we both have, we're not going to say the name, but we both have the same brokerage. Should be super easy for me to transfer over some IBIT. He's got a lot more IBIT than I do, a lot more. So I think, you know, for him, it wouldn't be as much of a hit as it would be for me.
Stop it.
Yeah, I don't have nearly as many shares as you. You know that, right? Yeah, so that's the look right now. We're shaking on it. It's a gentleman's bet. And come what may, baby. So that's it right now. I want to hear what you guys think in the chat.
Yeah, let us
I want to hear what you guys say. Hold on a second, Ram. I want to hear what the chat has to say. Do you guys think that this hits 125,000 by my birthday, or do I have no shot and I'm out $200?
Put it in the chat, guys. Bitcoin. 125K by May 25th, yes or no, put it in the chat.
Just saying.
We're going to do it live. We're going to do the transfer live. We're going to do everything live so you guys know that is legit. So,
Love it. All right, we got a super
no, Strobe, it's not 2 BTC. It's
no,
two shares.
2 IBIT, bro.
2 shares of IBIT.
2 IBIT. Pay attention.
So yeah, okay. Like we're not throwing around
I don't have
Bitcoin
BTC,
like that.
bro.
So okay, Sharif, we got a lot of no's here. We got a lot of no's here for your guy, Joe.
We got a lot of
no's
no's
on your boy's side. It seems to
all
be.
of them are saying no. I love it.
Go.
I love to be counter.
Let's go.
It actually makes me feel a lot better
I'm gonna
that
up the
people
bet.
are saying no.
I'm gonna double down here now.
You can double down. You can double down.
Double down.
Enjoy
4
it.
shares.
All right, guys, so that's the bet. We'll find out exactly what the situation is. Does Bitcoin hit 125,000 by May 25th? We'll have to find out. Time will tell. I could either be on the receiving end of a good early birthday present, or I might have to actually pay up something on my birthday, which would totally suck. Because that would be the deadline, right? So that I would literally have to transfer you.
No, 12 a.m. 12 a.m. May 25th. I'm gonna be messaging you. I'm gonna wake up.
11:59.
11:59. Perfect.
PM. But like has to be literally the last minute. I don't think I'll need that lot, Joseph.
I will be here bright and early waiting for those shares. Best believe that.
All right. Done with this. We're gonna absolutely hold on to this. There's video evidence of it. We did it live. What's going on over there? They're having a production party.
Yeah, they're having a
over
production
there. I don't know what's going on. The production team's having a production party, baby. Yes, we are caught, guys, in the CAPT downhalt. Let's talk a little bit about this. So we're actually exactly the same price right now that we halted out at. We halted at $1.55. The theoretical auction price is showing me that 155 level. So we're gonna keep tabs on this one. This one halted at 11:18:20. So it is now 11:23:05. So here's the deal. We've got, I think, about 15 seconds or so until this one opens, if it is going to be a 5-minute halt. So we'll see exactly what we get there. Let's put in, let's go ahead and go like that and then go like this. So that's the situation. There we go. So pops back up. All right, still in the $1.60. There's a seller at 61. He's out. 64s now. We're still out of the money. We're 78s right now. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll look to add a little bit into that one. So let's throw out some orders now in the high 70s to account for a possible move up. 65s now showing up. It's not as parabolic nearly as it was before. And whether or not it holds this halt level, we're going to have to wait and see. But that is my look right now on CAPT. BKSY is coming back down into my entry. So it looks like I'm going to give this one about 10 more cents, and then we're going to get out of that one. But we have already de-risked the majority of the position off BKSY. So it's really CAPT that I want to focus on. And as I look at it a little bit more, it keeps rejecting off 65. So it looks like we've got a seller of note on Captain over here at 65. Let's see if we can work up above that level. Joseph, my man, what do you got?
Yeah. So guys, I'm just looking for some relative strength here in NVDA. I actually bought some last night in the evening. I like this down here at 118s. 114 would have been more ideal. I already told you guys I'd try to swing on it already. I bought at like 127, sold at 122. Didn't work out, but now we're getting into a better price here. Let's see if we can get somewhat of a bounce on NVDA. I think we can continue to climb higher. Looking to add to that position as well too. So, let me pull up what we got going on here on IBIT too, guys. So what happened was entered here for the break of VWAP, got stopped out. Same thing, second entry. Now going to look for that break of high a day. So we're going to hold on to this a little bit longer, but we're also in some NVDA as well too, guys. Looking for that continuation. Maybe we can take that second leg to the top side. We know that first 45 minutes of this drive was extremely strong. We're covering up. We're up about 2.7% here on the session. So really, really strong. I think this thing has a lot to recover here. I don't know if it's going to go into the 230s or anything along those lines, but I mean, down 17% off that gap down day and losing over at the lows, $700 billion in market cap. I think that this company is just too strong, still too good, still in some really strong growth cycle. So I'm long this thing. Let's see if we can get that recovery. I don't know if all the sellers have been completely phased out yet, but only time will tell. But holding VWAP really well. If we break 119, add a dodge on that one, and then maybe we'll look to participate. But I think we got another super chat here, my guy. Let me pull it up to see what we got cooking up. Swoldemort, our guy. Woldemort, $10 super chat, 10 Canadian. What type of 90s high school degeneracy did Sharif get into with a May 24th weekend birthday? If BTC hits 125, I'll send you 3 grapefruit Smirnoff Ice to celebrate. Appreciate Swoldemort. But see, the thing is, what you don't understand, my guy's gym people. He's not drinking that sugary stuff.
By the way, I got to correct myself. Yesterday I said the last time I drank was when Raider was here. No, I drank on New Year's Eve. So I totally forgot about that. I'd forgotten. It wasn't a lie. But you
busted out the blue there.
The blue. That was
out the blue label.
I got 4 years ago, bro. We're still holding on to some of that.
Wow,
that's how much I drink.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah. So this guy is the definition of a gym junkie.
I appreciate you, though, Swoldemore, man. That's kind of you to do that.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I'll take it. Consider you. So you know what, Swoldemore? We're gonna add that into the bet. I'll take the Smirnoff as well as the 2 shares of iBit.
What do I get out of this, bro?
It doesn't
what
even
do I get?
It's gonna be a complete
game. I don't get
a complete party for me. So we're gonna have fun with that one, guys. Thank you for that, for the $10 super chat, Swoldemore. But let's see what we got going on. NVDA here still. Slowly climbing higher, not the best entry, still holding VWAP. I told you if we breach, we're going to get out of this one, but looking for that second leg. If we don't test the high a day, I'm still going to look for somewhat of a pullback to maybe 120.50s or for it to form that lower high, all right? So just keep that in mind. That's what we got going on with NVDA and iBit. Sharif.
All right, man, we're doing well finally here on CAPT. Multiple outs to the high side, and here comes some more possibly. 82's now showing up, seller at 82 of note. There it goes. Now we're waiting at 86s. Let's see if this one can continue up. We're long 61 right now, guys, so we got a banger on. Boom, that one gets taken out. Now we're still waiting, though, for 85. CAPT up a light. A decent 310% was up more. Keep going, baby. Let's go. We're waiting still at 85s. This one still hasn't touched the high of the day. The high of the day is 85, and that's exactly where I'm waiting. I got that initial print at 85. The second one, not so much. We're still zigging. We're still zagging at that 80 penny level. Not forthcoming to the high side. I want to see a $2 break here. We got the orders layered. I've got another order also in the low 90s to account for a good liquidity grab should that manifest as well. So holding my position currently in CAPT, looking for that move up. I've moved up my stop on BKSY. So we got some shares in BKSY, but it's breached the 10 exponential moving average. And so I'd like to be able to, account for any possibility of a down move on that one. Hence why I've taken some out. Let me have a look to see exactly how much shares we're still holding in CAPT. I'm taking that one out right there. So we're gonna have to print something in the 90s right now on CAPT for me to get my next fill. I've taken out the one in the low 80s. I don't think that makes a whole lot of sense, especially because I got one at 82s there. So what's the point in waiting at 85s? So that's what I'm waiting on right now. I'm waiting on CAPT. BKSY doesn't look nearly as good anymore. I mean, there does seem to be a buyer in the low 80s, high 70s. It's still showing me 90 on the ask, but that's not the move right now. I'm looking for a break and take of the high, and BKSY has got declining volume. So that's a bit of a trouble right there. Still holding some decent shares on this one. We've only got 3 outs, still got 4 more outs on this bad boy. So ideally, this tests 18 again and tries to use 18 as support. Back to CAPT as we zig and zag with that 70 penny level. So with the cost basis of 61, I've moved up my stop now to defend from that 40 area. I've moved it right below this area low. So we've moved it up into about 152 or so. So that'll risk about 9 pennies from my current area as it comes back down, sadly, into that area. So I've moved up the stop. Let's account for that. I don't want to give any back on CAPT. So let me just cancel my previous out. There we go. So We'll take that bad boy up. For right back into the high 80s we go on this monster, showing me, sorry, high 70s, excuse me, still showing me that it's trying to get above 80s, but it's been having trouble with that 80 penny level, I think, since I've basically sat down. So Captain is captaining the market today to the high side, up 300%. Get it? Thank you, Adara. But I'm just still waiting for that move up. She's like, you know, she's infected everyone with punning. But I think that's really good because like when she gets into the mood in the morning, she puns to warm up her brain. And I never really thought about that as kind of like a brain warm up until she started doing it. So there you go. Adara infecting us with intelligence. Get it, Adara. What are you looking at there, Joseph Wilson?
I'm just looking at NVDA not doing necessarily what I wanted to do right now, so that's okay. Oh, here we go. We're starting to recover. Looking for, I told you guys, 120.50s. Then we're going to look to take some off here. But as of right now, the second leg and that curl back over isn't looking too promising right now. But only time will tell, guys. Someone in the chat said Joe's giddy today, and I'm like, no, you know what, man? I was talking with Sharif. Sharif knows the deal. I said, man, I went to bed early, did all this here for prep and ready to execute and perform, and it didn't necessarily go as I would and as planned or how I really would have liked it to. But then I just said, hey man, being able to come here with you guys, talk in the chat, talk to the regulars in the chat, even all the new people, is like, how could you let that dampen your day, man? So sometimes you just got to show up with a smile on your face and just enjoy it for what it is. So yeah, just appreciative. That's all, Richard. So yeah, that's it, man. Loving it. SPY continuing to trade higher, just absolutely ripping, putting in a monster session. And same with the Qs there, guys. Nice consolidation phase, punch through higher. Let's see if this trend continues. At some point, I do believe the SPY is going to pull back, but maybe not. It might be just one of those trending days, and you know what? We're not going to complain because we had Google at a high of over $206, close to 207, second largest holding in the account. Bang, we like that one. iBit slowly starting to recover. Isn't necessarily where it was at yesterday. And I thought, hey, man, after we seen Donald sign that EO on the wealth fund, the sovereign wealth fund, I was like, okay, maybe this thing's ready to go. Doesn't seem to be the case just yet. So every day that we consolidate is $1 I'm going to put in my pocket against Sharif here. So yeah, so so I'm thinking that
this guy's already giving himself an early birthday present. Early present.
But we'll take it. But I mean, other than that, Joseph, man, go ahead. Go.
We're going to get caught in an up halt right now on CAPT. I'm long at 61s. Is going to halt at 94s. False halt right now. So zigs and zags, Joseph. So I got that print at 90. I moved down the order from 92 into 90. It moves up into 93. False halts at 93. Now I've put my out in front of, north of 2. So I put it for the break of the whole dollar level. By definition, obviously, that's a bit risky because we know how these whole dollar levels act as psychological areas of support and resistance. But I've only got one more out left, so I'll take a little bit of a risk here, especially with the stop having been moved up to almost break even right now. I'm talking about CAPT, guys. This one is definitely on one, up 330%, looking to take out highs. Didn't even touch the 10 exponential moving average on the pullback. Okay, it didn't even get to it. So strong was this one, nor did it fill the halt levels. So I'm gonna say this again. I've said it before. I use the halt levels as intraday areas of both support and resistance, especially when you clear them. Sometimes they come back, test them, or they come back real close to them. Now maybe not to the exact level, and then bounce off them. That's exactly what we got here with CAPT. But as I see it, BKSY is coming down, and if it drops 2 more pennies, we're gonna get stopped out for the remaining amount. So that will probably be an L on this one. I should have taken out some in the high 90s there to de-risk, but I was a little stubborn on this one. BKSY coming back down, 2 more pennies. We get stopped out on that one. Back now to CAPT, still putting in higher lows and higher highs with that $1.93 is the high of the day. I'm still waiting north of 2. We'll see what we get there on this bad boy. I'm also looking at ATAI. Shout out to Pretty Panda for pointing that one out to me. ATAI has been awfully respectful of the volume-weighted average price on the day. So here it is. It's kind of getting a bull flag right now using VWAP as support with the last little trough here higher than its predecessor. So this one looks like it could be a bull flag breakout, maybe above that 2.25, Joseph. ATAI definitely will be on watch. What's your look over there, my man?
Yeah, let's get into some of these top performing sectors. Wayner's got it going over there. And that's the thing. I was kind of cheesed, and then I just seen Wayner smile, and I'm like, bang. Day better. That's it, man. The smile does a lot there. So energy at the top of its class here, up about 2%. Tech sector up about 1.4. Communication sector up about 0.8 as well there. From the bottom up, guys, we got consumer staples. Walmart almost tapping that $100 that Neil was talking about yesterday, down about 0.8 there. Utilities down about 0.6, and then healthcare down about 0.5%. So that is that, guys. Those are the top and bottom performing sectors of the session. So, I mean, let's take a look at XLF, guys, actually, because I want to see why is the SPY significantly stronger, and I'm assuming that is going to be because of XLE. But here we go with X. That's not it. XLF. XLF. Okay, so yeah, not too bad from XLF here, guys. I think this thing's a buy no matter at any given day because American banks, that's what you want. And you've seen Donald Trump said Canada is very, very hard on America. They don't allow any American banks in there. So yeah.
And he was fact-checked heavily on that about the fact that American banks don't do business. What I think he meant are Schedule I banks versus Schedule II banks. So there's this legislation that we have in this country called the Bank Act. And if you're a Schedule I bank, you have certain rights as well as obligations as well. It's not just all better for you and worse for the Schedule II. The Schedule II banks are the American banks. Those are foreign ownership banks. There's a lot of stuff that the Schedule I banks can do, permitted by statute to do, that the Schedule II banks can't do. So to build on his point, if I'm not saying that's what he meant. I don't know if he educated himself enough to be able to know that. If that's what he meant, he's accurate. If not, then he's completely out to lunch. We have American banks that operate here. We have world banks. HSBC, Bank of America has a branch, I think, down the road. But they're definitely not.
The Orange Bank. Isn't that American too?
You're like ING Direct. What was it called?
No, the orange one. Do you know what the?
I mean, what it's called again? It used to be called ING Direct.
Was it? Yeah,
But it got bought. It bought ING Direct, that Dutch company. I forget the name of it. Yeah. So anyway, that's the point, guys. Schedule I banks are Canadian-owned banks. And there's really a lot of ownership restrictions about that. It's not the only industry that's protected. We've talked about this, Joseph. Telecom. If Verizon was to come up here, if AT&T was to come up here, they would decimate the companies that we have, like Rogers and Bell and TELUS, who just wouldn't be able to hang. And so that's why we've protected them, so that we could have our autonomy, have our companies flourish and not be foreign owned. A lot of people like that. You know, I happen to fall into the middle of that equation. I'm a little agnostic. I'd like to see maybe a bit more competition in the telecom space because we pay the most amount in cell phones possibly in the entire developed world. So yeah, I see both sides of the coin, but he was not accurate in that statement unless he meant what I just explained there. So I just want to make that thing. Orange Theory, no, not Orange Theory. That's a gym, brother. PNC Bank, is that the one you're talking about, Joseph? No.
Mandarin. Mandarin.
Is it Mandarin?
I'm pretty sure it's
Tangerine, bro.
Yeah,
you're wrong fruit, dog.
Yeah, no, I heard Adara.
Yeah, she's got it right.
Yeah,
got it right.
Tangerine, that's American, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the one.
That's the one. So there we go. We kind of know what we're talking about. So here we go, guys. XLE, this thing might be a buy here, Sharif. Look at this bottoming candle right here. A nice, promising trend. Pullback. About 40% or so, and then now moving to the top side, top performing sector is right here, XLE, guys, and still relatively cheap. So we like XLE. We're still holding on to this IBIT. It has now given back some things that, some ground that it's gained, which isn't the best here. But that is okay because we are still going to hold on to it until we break these lows. So hopefully that wasn't just a false breakout and we can continue. But as of right now, forming lower highs, not looking too good for Bitcoin. Cha-ching for me there. So yeah, we like that, guys. And NVDA starting to crawl back higher. I do think that we're going to break through some of these key resistance zones and then possibly go and test that high day. It is strong today, up over 2%. So that doesn't work. Up about 2.7%, 2.8 0.8% now, guys. I think if we break this 120 and hold it, we're gonna go see some higher highs.
All right, I got Aura Alpha here trying to talk to me in Mandarin. He's like, ni hao, right? Which obviously means hello, but I don't know what Peng Yu means. I'm gonna have to Google that, but thank you, Aura Alpha. I like that, because I've been practicing and putting in work every day. Guys, minimum I'm putting in is half an hour per day for Mandarin. I'm really trying to get a lot better at it, and I'm practicing with some of the boys in the back there who definitely help me with my pronunciation, because, you know, you don't always get the best pronunciation from the app. And I had a buddy tell me that you're speaking like way too properly, like nobody talks like that. You got to talk more slang. So obviously I have nobody to practice with, so where the hell would I get the slang from,
How are you gonna slang it though if you don't even really understand the full language?
Well, exactly.
Right?
I'm not even close,
Yeah.
right? Like
So,
I'm still in the early stages, but yeah. Peng Yu is friend. Oh, thank you for that. So Peng Yu. Yeah. I already know which character that last one is. You. It's like 我有. 我有 means I have, right? Is that the Benson? Is that right? Is that the same character as 有? 我有. 我有. All right. Anyway. We'll leave that one for a sec. Guys, I am caught in a down hold right now on CAPT. It's showing me a top of 161, which is exactly my entry. But as I've told you guys, I've moved up my stop from the gap fill there. I've moved it to break even. So let's see where this monster opens. You are. Thank you, Celery 2. Shout out to you, my man. I love it. I love it. You guys telling me exactly how it goes down. I got to practice with you guys, man. 我有, 我有, I have different character. Oh, thank you, Aura. Okay, because it looks the same thing. Hold on. 我有, 我有 is I want, right? Isn't there a 我有 as well, which is there's 我有 and 我有, right? Fact check me. I'm forgetting. In any event. So we're caught in this down halt right now on CAPT, but looking to see whether or not it opens above my stop. So gonna keep an eye out on that. I've been talking about ATAI as well, and I've really been wanting to...
Pull that back up one more time.
They're disrespecting Chairman Xi. You guys are disrespecting President Xi and Chairman Xi, all right? Hey, I'm pretty sure we have Chinese viewers, okay? So ATAI, looking at this one for that 220 break, I was waiting at the volume weighted average price. Well, yeah, I need, okay. Oh, we'll get to that in a second. So I'm looking at VWAP here on ATAI for a possible bounce. I don't think that I would take the breakout trade on this. It doesn't have as much volume. It's not as parabolic. It's up 18 and change, which is a good look. But I'd trade this as a range. It wouldn't be one where I'm looking for that second bull flag breakout, at least not yet. And not with what I'm seeing with volume. The volume is declining. It's down and to the right. So it's really getting reduced here. It's still able to make higher lows and higher highs with lower volume, but that doesn't mean I should be looking at it as a breakout trade. So ATAI, absolutely interested in this one, but it's got to come off a key level. RCAT is coming down aggressively here. Let's load up, let's bring in the other side charts over here. Let's bring in our best one, trade or e-signal. RCAT is coming down in possibly into the volume weighted average price. I am a buyer at RCAT, possibly at around 940 to 950. Now, we're going to have to see where this one holds up. Now, why I like this level, a couple of reasons. You got VWAP hanging around 940. That's first and foremost. But you have this area top in kind of between 9 1/3 to the high or to the 9 mid-40s. So this area top here kind of has me guessing that if we come back down, we hold this general area, it could be a VWAP hold. So RCAT likely to be looking for a dip trade on that bad boy as well. Okay, so now Captain is open and it held the level. So we got caught in the down halt on this bad boy, but it was still above the 10 exponential. It was still above VWAP, and here we are showing 75s, 77s. I'm still waiting on the north side at 2. So either I get stopped out or I get that 2 print. Let's see which one comes first. I'm not taking it out. Either we break 2 or we break that $1.50 for the stop out there. That's what I'm looking at right now. I'm also going to look at BKSY quick over here because this one did breach the volume weighted average price and then got bought right back up. I'm going to take an attempt at this trade over here, Joseph,
yes, sir.
because this one is at VWAP. It's a good mover on the day. and it held the level. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to try to get in here. It's a spready ticker, so it's not giving me the entry at the midpoint. 59's on the ask, 50 on the bid. It's not printing me, so we're going to have to wait to either get printed or we're going to have to chase this. Either way, I don't really want to do either. Decisions. All right, what are you looking at?
Yeah, same stuff here we got going on, guys. I got out of my IBIT back into it. This time significantly heavier. So there we go. I didn't take any profits up here, like, I don't know, like an AMI pretty much, but that's okay. I didn't expect this to break down how it did. So we're in on this indecision candle, guys. I'll show you here a little more clear and why we headed back into this trade. And it's that doji right there, looking for VWAP. So that's what it is. You've seen what we got in multiple times before that. Didn't work out. Now let's see if we can get this one to work out. NVDA is starting to crawl back towards those highs. I think that we can continue to go higher on this one. So Apple looking delicious, says Los Pollos. Let's take a look. I like that one, my friend. Smallest holding in the account. It is looking awfully ripe here. So 232 and 25 and change is Apple. So good look there from my guy Los Pollos, the Chicken Brothers. So here we go. Yeah, that's it. That's a beautiful covering this gap. When I seen the market gap down this morning, Sharif, I'm like, oh, I had dollars in my eyes because I'm like, man, there's no way we're going to continue to go higher. Yeah, but we're going to go see what Adara's up to, folks.
We're talking about earnings here as we always do here around 11:40.
Okay, it's okay. We're going to fix Adara's mic. It doesn't look muted, so it might be with the production team. Just let me know when you guys want to go back to Adara. No worries. Pardon me? Okay, so I don't think they're talking quite yet, Joseph. All right, so I'm out of CAPT. It came into my entry, and as I said, I was not going to give anything back on CAPT. So we are out of this trade. Well, actually, not even break even. I took like a couple of pennies on the last little bit there, but we're back in BKSY. I'm into this because it's at VWAP. I'm looking for a couple of prints here. Let's see if this holds VWAP, Joseph, but I'm told Adara is ready at the big desk.
So
apologies there. We are back in business. We're going to take a look at earnings as we always do around 11:40, 11:45 a.m. during peak earnings season, which we are certainly in. We've talked a lot about Palantir. We've talked a lot about PayPal, but we haven't given as much love or as much in-depth analysis to a couple others reports, including Spotify here. We got Spotify, pretty bull flag-ish here on the day. This is the 3-minute chart. They did post a revenue beat, actually up 16% year over year. However, their EPS was actually a miss, 188 American versus 2.06 expected. So bit of a miss there for EPS. Guidance really strong though for Q1. They're seeing Q1 sales of 4.483 billion versus 4.17 billion expected, and they're expecting total monthly active users of around 678 million. So great look here. I know a lot of people in this audience and on this floor probably contributing to that. So Spotify stays strong. Merck does not. So MRK here sharply to the downside. They did beat on earnings per share. They beat on sales, but their guidance here is very much below expectations. Sales of 64.1 to 65.6 billion. That's what they're seeing for 2025, but the estimate was 67.3 billion. So that is quite the miss for their 2025 sales guidance. Their EPS guidance also mostly missed estimates. And actually, they did say that their concerns about consumer spending in China had to do with that mix. So China on watch here for MRK. And here is, as always, our new Trader TV Research Earnings Board. You can check it out on X at TTV Research. So we do have, I was seeing conflicting dates for MicroStrategy, but I have it here just in case. We do have AMD for sure, though. Alphabet, Snapchat, Chipotle, EA, Amgen, Lumen, Enphase, Match Group. You can check out all these earnings and probably more on the market recap. It's going to be an earnings party, so check that out, 4 p.m. Eastern. We're also going to have a lot of earnings graphics coming out over the next few hours on TTV Research, including some for AMD and Alphabet. Back to you.
It's going to be another banger after the bell today. It is myself, the Katina man, and the girl you just saw at the big desk right there making all the infographics, Adara Dang LePage. We're all going to be doing it in the aftermarket show. Big movers today, Joseph. We got goggles. We got AMD. And wait until you guys see the infographic on AMD. Lisa Sue makes a cameo on there, and she may or may not be wearing blue, Joseph. She is wearing blue. Spoiler alert. Shout out to Adara, always doing the absolute most in a fantastic way. Yeah, so I just wanted to mention that, guys. Special market recap show today is going to be the trio. We're going to be killing it, lots of energy, and we're going to be giving you those that earnings report as soon as it comes out. EPS, guidance, the works, the commentary, and obviously we won't be able to hang out, obviously, for the earnings call. But yeah, we will definitely be giving you the results as they come out. So if you're interested, join us on the market recap show. We should have another banger. We had great ones last week.
Absolutely,
with those big earnings reports. Man, it's earnings season, and it requires a special, special approach to everything. So
that's it. I appreciate. I like that. That's why I tune in, man. When I go home, I just tune in, see what you guys are up to, because I like hearing those numbers, and you guys articulate them extremely well.
Appreciate
so yeah, I appreciate that. IBIT continuing to the south side. Dang. So yeah, that's it. Not strong today. So it is what it is. No more attempts on that one. Light position to begin with, says Gorev on PLTR. I mean, I like the continuation in strength, man. But as of right now, forming those lower highs, not looking too good. But I do believe that we can hit that 110 price in the next couple of days, maybe by the end of the week. So, but unfortunately, here we are 0 for 3 on IBIT, guys. Full disclosure, 1, didn't take any profit there, 2, and then there we go, 3 to the downside. So this thing is weak. That executive order doing bupkis, essentially. So going back towards those lows. But we're still in this NVDA as it starts to crack some key support levels. If we breach 119, add a dodge, and we got to reassess the situation. Did we miss the opening drive? Maybe, possibly. But again, I mentioned that this thing is still strong, and that volume on the 5-minute time frame is really starting to die off here. So that is really key. If those buyers decide they want to step back in and we get an additional program going, then we can look to get involved in it again, or just continue to hold on to this position. Holding VWAP to a T, we like that. We're going to continue to hold until otherwise, and that's the game plan, and we're going to stick to it.
Yeah, Google's at VWAP. Speaking of Google, because we were just talking about it right now, it's at the volume weighted average price at that 204.5, give or take, and I'm trying to make a decision as whether I want to get long. It's up 1 2/3% on the day. It is breaking down now below VWAP. It's at the 50 exponential moving average on the 5-minute chart. And yeah, I don't need to be first into this. It's got a 206.68 high a day. If it holds here, maybe a 205 bounce, maybe ideally a 206 bounce, but that's what I'm waiting for. I'm trying to debate on whether or not to get in Google, but while I debate that, I'm taking Prince to the high side here on BKSY. I'm now waiting at 82s. It's showing me 81s. I've got 3 outs so far. We're looking for more. I'd like this to break 18, and guess what? This takes 18 again. I'm going to add on this for a break and take of 18. It failed 18 last time. I don't mean it failed it in the strict sense. It failed to close above it and hold above it. We wicked up, and that's all that we did. We wicked up into that 18, 30, 18, something or another around there. Yeah, it looks like it was a 31 pop, and then we came right back down. So that ain't the move. I'm looking for a move past 18. I'm talking about BKSY. The good news is it respected VWAP. The bad news is the volume is crap, okay? It's not good, and because the volume is crap, it's giving you a wider spread. Right now, I got a 12-penny spread on a $17 name. I mean, what's going on here, BKSY? You're up 16 3/4. Give me a little bit more liquidity than that. So we're going to try to manage risk a little bit here the best we can, but this one is suffering from the affliction of lack of volume. BKSY is the ticker we're talking about. The dead one, Apple, continues to make higher highs and higher lows. I'm likely not going to trade Apple on the day, but I did want to point out that it is holding the 10 exponential quite well. At the most, or the deepest retracement, I want to say, came into the 20. And that's something we've talked about before when something's awfully strong and then, it's been basically respecting the 10 exponential on the way up. When it pulls into a retracement level, sometimes it'll breach that 10 and hold up at that 20. So that's exactly what we got here on AAPL, up 1 3/4, but definitely the weakest of the bunch. Maybe not on the day, but generally the past little while. I'm talking about AAPL. So I'm still keeping an eye here on BKSY. Oh, ATAI, Pretty Panda, I should have listened to you, my man. You were right. I was the highs right now. It's at the, I believe, the high of the day, $2.25. Shout out to Pretty. I see you there, my man. Pretty's now talking about CPIX, but I'm looking at the other one that you told me about, Pretty Panda, which is ATAI. This one just It could have a possible double top at 225. I was waiting at VWAP. It looked to me as if I was actually waiting in front, ahead of VWAP, higher than VWAP, because the second retracement on ATA, I'm talking about this one right here, was higher than the first. This is the one that touched VWAP. This one front ran VWAP. So it was a little bit higher. So I said, if we get another retracement, well, what if it looks more akin to the second pullback over there? Get it off 210, get it off 212. It didn't do any of that, and then it just dropped back or popped up. So that's the look right now. BKSY coming back down after giving me that high 70s print, that 82 print, excuse me, went unfilled as a result of the spread. So that's a bit of an issue right now. Zaying. Would you short Tesla at VWAP? Let's have a look, my man. Let's see what the Cybertruck is up to today. Obviously, it was a bit of a tougher day for them yesterday because of the whole issues with tariffs. Interesting look. Great question there. Would you short Tesla at VWAP here, Joseph?
Would I?
Yeah, because
no.
This is interesting right now. This is an interesting Tesla pullback because what we were doing is we were putting in lower lows and lower highs. And then we get a retracement, as Zai pointed out, into VWAP there at around the whole dollar, give or take a little bit less than the whole dollar, about 385 and 2/3. What I wait for, Zai, is the first 5-minute candle to make a new low and close red. You give up a great price by doing that, but on the other side of the coin, you get confirmation. Otherwise, get in here and then give yourself whatever you can in terms of room for your stop. But it's continuing to make higher highs and higher lows. It's not stopping. The current candle is green. Let's see if it prints above the previous 5-minute candle, which again, as I mentioned, seems to be in the 2/3 of a dollar area, maybe a little bit higher than that, maybe in the 3/4 of a dollar area. I'm talking about TSLA and the VWAP retracement right now. Of course, brother, any time there. Charlie Taff, yes, I think the short on Tesla is valid. Thank you, Charlie, for chiming in. Appreciate your opinion. What else we got? Your boy Greg. This is way too uniform. Looks like a real buyer for Tesla. Thank you, Greg. And Greg, you're right, because that current 5-minute candle just made another high. So well taken. Good point there, Greg. Shout out to Greg. That's Joe's boy there from the great state of Connecticut.
The great state. The great state.
Yeah, I'm just going to shout him out. Why not?
Yeah, we'll give him a shout out. We give him a shout out, man. I talk to him every day. So, the great state. I don't know how I feel.
You sound like very reluctant about that whole thing. Right?
With
it's
Connecticut?
Great state, yeah.
Well, because it's close to the people from Connecticut, like Boston. I'm a true Toronto boy, New England. Yeah, anything that has Boston, like New England, the Celtics. What else do they got over there? The Bruins. Right?
I know Neil loves the New England people.
Yeah, I get it. So arch rivalry with the Bruins and the Celtics. Don't love them, either of them, but I love my guy GV over there on the real far east. Yeah, GV over there on the real East Coast, guys. But what we got going on here, we got out of this NVDA. I told you if we were to breach that, then we're going to get out of Dodge, reassess the situation. But there's one thing that I do like. Gorav, if you're paying attention to this, what I've seen here, Gorav, on Google, we have that indecision candle, beautiful hammer doji right below the volume weighted average price with a strong primary trend right here. So Gorav, at the break of that, that's when we decided to get long there. So really good look there. We didn't get that print that we were looking for on PLTR just yet. I know you're in that one, but I seen Google, it's relatively strong today. And it also has earnings after the bell. I think it's going to be a smash hit for these guys as usual. I think YouTube gets popular day by day. Waymo's starting to pick up steam. There's so much going on for this company. It's like an ETF in itself here. So I like Google. We're going to continue in this long and see if we can somewhat come to this 205.61 level on this pullback here. So we might have to sit it in for a little while there, Sharif.
All right. That's the look right now, guys. We're involved in Google as well. Already a quick print on it as it broke 10s. Let's see if this one can move on its merry way. Hold the volume weighted average price. That's kind of what I'm looking for Google to do there. It was a nice bounce off VWAP. Obviously, could have had a lot better of a price if you picked it up off VWAP, but was just not willing to do that. I haven't been trading these large caps in a while, so I'm going to trade them cautiously. Philippe Sosa. Triple Q has been consolidating for an hour. Do you think it'll break higher or lower? It looks awfully bull-flaggish. So I don't really look at the Triple Q, but this is essentially another mirror image of what the Triple Qs look like. This is the NQ, March contract, the NASDAQ, the futures. This is holding up at the highs. It's defending that 50-point level, but most notably, it is rejecting that 100-point level. I'm talking about 21,700. We are putting in higher lows, maybe not necessarily higher highs at the moment, but we're definitely holding up here. Let's see if we can continue to hold up and then attempt that 700 break. If you're going to go long, I would suggest possibly trying to get it long on the bottom end of this range rather than trying to punch towards the high side. At least you give yourself a cushion to say to yourself, well, if it breaks below here, I'm wrong. I'll submit to you that 21,625 area, if it doesn't hold up at that area, I would personally punch out of the position. The reason is we've been holding that 25-point area on the future essentially all morning since getting up to that level, since around 10:15. It's been bouncing off 21,625 over and over. We'll see if that ends up continuing. All right, we got a couple of prints on goggles right now to the high side. Let's set up a little bit maybe in front of that 20, and there it is again. Nice move here on goggles into the high side. Let's see if this bad boy continues. Actually, I thought I got the print there, but I didn't at 19s. So we're long at the whole dollar, still waiting for that move back up. Shout out to Felipe Sosa. Appreciate you as well, my man. Shabo, I think. Sharif, meant to ask you after you were calling out the Man City fans the other day. Love it, by the way. Who's your team? I'm a Man U fan, and obviously my locals, East Fife, LOL. Okay, so obviously you hate City, probably more than I do, because that's the local derby. That's the Manchester derby. I'm an Arsenal fan. Right? Through and through, a bit an Arsenal fan since 2008. I moved to England for school for 2 years, and that's kind of when I got involved in it. I used to love soccer, obviously, as a World Cup, enthusiast and stuff like that, but never really was involved in soccer or football, as you would call it, obviously. At the club level, got involved when I moved to England, and I haven't cheered for any other team since that time. It's all Arsenal for me all the time, baby. So that is my look there. Now, obviously, it's a bit tough being an Arsenal fan because while we're Premier League, we haven't won the Premier League since 2004, since the Invincibles, essentially. So it's a bit of a longer stint for me than for you. Last time you guys won, obviously, was when Fergie retired in 2013. But, yeah, I think, we definitely have one of the best teams we've ever had since the Invincibles, I think. One of the best teams, I think, in the Premier League. But injuries have plagued us multiple times this year. Hopefully, we can get our feet under us. We could have won the Prem the last 2 years as well, but City just kept stealing it from us. They kept beating us, so fair and square. They would perform and we wouldn't. And so, yeah, kind of sucks, but that's the way it is there, Joseph.
I got a cool picture here. Just watching it from, this is watching from home. Yeah, this is the living room here. This is mango wood here, guys? Mango wood. Yeah, I put that together there. Mango wood on the big screen. So we got to keep it tropical. And watching Trader TV live here on at the big screen at home. So there we go. So we always go back and review that. I thought that was
love that look, dude.
Yeah, you like it, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, man. We're tropical people, so we try to keep it that way. So. Yeah, they're not real. They're fake from IKEA, but they keep it that way. But yeah, guys, here we go. We're still in this Google. Let's see if this can continue to move. Oh, nice. Yeah, nice. Yeah, let's go, guys. Let's see if we can hold VWAP. We know Apple is continuing to just slowly crawl higher. But the thing is, PLTR breaking through some key support levels, as well as NVDA. So that one, no good. So let's see if we can hold. In Alphabet, if we break the low here on the 5-minute, so that would be around 204.39, out of dodge, and it's not going to be too pretty of a day, but that's okay. We'll find some strength somewhere because that's what we do, Sharif. But we're going to send it off to Adara first, quick.
Part of the show is, there's a beak water. This part of the show is brought to you by Prop Firm Match. Are you a skilled trader who's lacking capital? Prop firms offer the opportunity to trade with simulated funds, allowing you to showcase your skills, access account sizes ranging from 5K to 500K, and you can start with as little as 20 bucks. But with over 500 prop firms out there, how do you find out which ones are the best? That's where Prop Firm Match steps in. Prop Firm Match is your go-to platform for finding and comparing only the most esteemed firms with proven track records and consistent long-term payment histories, access over 4,500 verified reviews, explore payout histories, and discover the best current deals all in one place. So scan that QR code or visit propfirmmatch.com today and find the perfect prop firm for you. And this market here certainly, I don't want to say perfect, but it's been a great little uptrend for the most part here. The S&P 500 up about 0.75%. NASDAQ definitely a little removed from its highs here on that 15-minute chart, but still up about 1%. China on watch here. We've had some trade concerns with regards to what's going on with these tariffs. Apparently, we're going to have President Xi and Donald Trump have calls there and talks about tariffs. We're going to have to wait and see what happens there. But in the meantime, PDD, this is a bit of a bull flag, so lots of Chinese ADRs being very strong here today. Palantir no longer so strong, though. This one a little bit of a downtrend now. PLTR, great start to the day. They beat on every earnings metric imaginable, and they also had lots of year-over-year growth and some very strong guidance. So PLTR, great look. Also some other earnings names, too. We have MRK on watch. We talked about Spotify and AMD and Google reporting after the bell. So with that in mind, here is our new TTV research graphic on AMD. This features Lisa Su, the CEO of AMD, and this graphic covers every annual earnings since she joined the company here, 2014. Worth noting, of course, 2024, we don't have the final annual results. We'll get those today, but I used analyst estimates to come up with their approximate revenue for the year 2024. And I think it's really timely as well to do this graphic because A, of course, earnings tonight, but B, Lisa Su was named CEO of the year by Time Magazine in 2024. Kind of a controversial pick for a lot of people, but regardless, here's Lisa. Here is this great chart here. This is the stock price. Here is this white line, and the green is going to be their revenue. So this is not yet on X. You guys are going to get a sneak preview. It will be on X very shortly at TTV Research. Check that out. But in the meantime, Neil, I think, will be doing his lesson of the day. Take it away, Neil.
Thank you very much, Darren. I was literally just talking to Obi right now, so we were going over a few things. But I think, look, ultimately, I could have pivoted because Obi, maybe we'll talk about this tomorrow. Obi had a really good point about patience and expectations when you have targets, holding for that target and playing your range. What I wanted to discuss today is sort of, knowing when to flip gears and understanding two types of flipping gears. One, because the price action is telling you to do something. Two, because the environment has changed. Now, we've seen it with news when the environment can change, and that's really easy the other day with the tariffs. But I want to start with price and then maybe look at the time of day, because it's all well and good to have a bias in one direction or another. And if you saw the afternoon show yesterday, I was looking breakout on NVIDIA past the 118. It just had resistance at 118.5. You've got to be able to respect it. I did like that still to the short side. If there's sellers there, I'm going to maybe jump into it. But acknowledging when you had that stair step up and we were looking longs at the end of the day on NVIDIA, there's something that has to be in your playbook for this is no longer valid. It's one thing to be out, but now you've got to look for the other side of the trade. And when you have a very big or very key price level, those are the types of levels that I think you want to look for the reversals on, where it's not just, it's not just some random resistance level. It is a double top yesterday, but you also had a big bounce support that had a huge move. Like we found that bottom around this 118, 119 several times. And then you had a wipeout bottom, wipeout low on volume, higher lows that hold into a potential breakout. So yes, short thesis and the trend is still valid under here. Wow, this is really starting to come down. Valid to here, but you're willing, once it shows you buying over top, to make the reversal. You're not going to reverse every single trade. But you've got to find some out there that are showing you the signs. And this was a 2-day sign for me on NVIDIA. It wasn't just all about this level today. It had to do with how it was trading yesterday and wanting the long in NVIDIA. And ultimately, if I only short this stock, maybe you make it back. I mean, I could guess that, I could always have just shorted 121. I don't know. I just know that I liked it here for the short. It wasn't valid. The next move it made at my short level was to do a bull flag, so you got to take the breakout. And I had 119 in my note as a breakout, but even if I didn't, I think I'm taking that trade anyways. The other part of it, I wasn't going to use NVIDIA for this example, is the time of day. I'm chuckling because when you get past the opening rush, I think we've seen this enough times that look at the difference. Now, this is an example of a good reversal. This trend out is an example of why wasn't I flipping into the short side of the trade on NVIDIA? I have to ask myself that question. You go past the opening rush, and after that, where it broke trend, turned into clean resistance on NVIDIA. That's a seed change as well. It plays in both ways. It's not the same as in the morning where you do a quick flip and it just flies. This is different. It's a little bit more subtle because you're in the middle of the day and you get that kind of mean reversion look, or you get a little bit of sideways action. Yes, it's bouncing VWAP so you can stay bullish, but where it loses your inflection point, and you can draw any trend line you want. I can draw it from the bottom. I can draw it from here. It's still going to lose its level here at 120.50. That's another place where you can flip short. Maybe not instantly. Wait for a little confirmation. Certainly when it breaks VWAP. So there's when price action is telling you you've got a trend reverse, but also the time of day is showing you that, hey, the momentum is just a little bit different. Now, obviously, you can do other things here. Thankfully, it's sort of very similar. Like the example I was going to use, it wasn't going to be NVIDIA, to be honest. NVIDIA just started rolling over. No, what I was going to say is sometimes when you start to have that big, long move up, wait for exhaustion, lunchtime, for the second phase of the trade. Because how many times have we seen this before? I mean, countless times. Countless times. You have a big trend up in the morning. This is what AMD did yesterday. Higher lows, breaking the highs, makes the high right around 11 o'clock. There's your top, and then it's just trend down after that. Does another reversion late. We're in a reversion market. You heard Michael Noss talk about this, where you have a little bit more, you're going to have extra volatility, which is a good thing, but it does mean that you're not always going to have as strong and continuous moves in this particular market. So what it can give you is both key price level reversion, reversals. It's going to give you like lunchtime reversals. And I play this, like I almost say if it gets to VWAP in here, if it gets to 115, why not just play it like yesterday? I mean, if this trends down for a couple of hours, this is what it did at 1:30, and then AMD just trended right back up. So I think you play it from one reversal to another, just willing to switch gears every chance you get. And that might be the same thing with NVIDIA as I'm tracking this to the downside. I might be coming back and looking at this 116 level where it right at the end of the day bounced right around VWAP in the morning where we bounced from, and look for a reversal at that price too. So whether you have it planned as a key price level to make the reverse just because of the price action at a key inflection point, or whether you're just moving from the opening rush to the midday to the afternoon, I'll call it that 1:30, 2 o'clock, or into power hour, be willing to switch gears. We're not necessarily in the same trending market that we were for a couple of years, where you can just always buy and hold. I actually saw this put in the chat the other day, that you got to think about that opening rush, make your money on those, and then work into a different strategy. Like, here's another example for you. Let's just throw Palantir up here. Like, look at Palantir. Opening rush, all clean. But since that initial top, I'm looking back at it. I mean, hindsight's 20/20, and this is what Obi and I were talking about, is the short up here. Like that, it was the first break off 100. It was a break off VWAP. It was a 105 break. The top here at 107, that was it. It's actually been trending down ever since on Palantir and continues to trend down. So that's opening rush, seed change. Let's look for another at the $100 level. Wherever it happens to revert, be willing to flip from one trend to another and not just sit back and do what we did in 2023 and 2024, which is get in one good trade and hold it for the day. That's not the way it's really been going. Every now and then you're still going to see it, but that ability to flip back and forth, see where the key price inflections happen, or just the stock that gives you the opportunity when the market inflection happens is going to be an important one, I think, all throughout the year. So whether you made money long or short on Palantir, long or short on NVIDIA, I think you want some flexibility regardless of what your bias may have been going into the start of the day. If I had stuck with the bias on NVIDIA, we wouldn't be up on it because it was a long that made money, not the initial short. Be flexible, be nimble, and as always, good luck in your trades, everybody.
Thank you very much, Neil. The Neelage dropper. I'm not allowed to say the other one, Joseph, but the Neelage dropper I'm allowed to say. Shout out to Neil. Thank you very much. Eloquent, informative, and awesome as always. Every day around that noon hour. Neil Roberts, lesson of the day. Joseph, we're both in Google.
Both in Google.
It's both they're both holding view up. Like my chart's different than yours.
Yeah.
No, they're both I did it again. It's holding VWAP, I promise. I'm not crazy. But we're not really getting that move off VWAP as, some of these other ones are moving nicely here. We're looking at Apple, Meta moving quite aggressively. Tesla trying to hold above VWAP, Joseph, in the future at that 50-point level. But Google not really, moving off aggressively. I guess maybe because we're reporting earnings, everybody's kind of waiting, this, that, and the other.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, we had a pretty strong opening drive here on this thing, up about 1.8%. We were talking about it not too long ago, so if this thing decides that it wants to climb higher, then I think it will. But as of right now, Street's right, it's stagnant, not doing anything as the rest of the market slowly starts to crawl higher, like Apple. NVDA is starting to pull back a little bit as well, too, and Tesla hovering above the volume-weighted average price. So let's see. I think it's going to get going here. It may take a little bit of time, maybe a little bit longer than we expect. But I think as soon as we break this resistance level here, Sharif, there's going to be some more topside room. So we'll mark out this resistance, 205 almost to be exact here, just above 205. If we punch through that, then we get the retest and hold, then I think that we might be able to take that leg higher. So only time will tell on that front, and we're going to sit in here until otherwise. If we break this low, that's my out, Sharif. I don't know about you. My out's around 204.36, 38-ish. So that's what I'm like. That's when the thesis is going to be invalid in my books. But here we go with IBIT, guys. I took 3 swings at it. Struck out, unfortunately, but that is okay. Still have a high batting average, and we like that. Ooh. So, yeah, there we go. But again, almost a double bottom here. Holding these pre-market support levels fairly well, you do get that odd wick out, but as of right now, just chopping in that range, and if it has the ability to breach 56.92, then I think that we can come and test the next level, which will put us around 57.20s-ish. So there we go. That's what we think on IBIT. I mean, now I have a position hedge on this with the bet going.
Something's going on, Joseph.
Okay, go take it over, my guy.
Something's going on. The market just dropped into 600. Google dropped a little bit there. I don't know if anybody or goodness, it's always Donald Trump, isn't it? No, nothing. I'm just looking back at CNBC, so that could just be nothing. But we just got a nicer move down there in the market. We gave up the 20 exponential moving average on the 5 on the futures. And here, I'll just bring it in. But it could be nothing because Google's recovering right to where I got stopped out. So this could just be regular price action. Let's see if we bounce off 600, 21,600 incoming right now. It looks like there it goes. So now we're breaking down below the 100-point area. And this is an interesting area here on the futures, Joseph, because that volume weighted average price on the NQ March contract is right at that 50-point area. And I use 50 and the 100-point levels as areas of psychological support and resistance. So let's see if we make it down there. You're seeing red candles right now on all the Mag 7 names without exception. Even the monster Meta, it's got a bit of a red candle right now. But Microsoft below VWAP, Google below VWAP. While NVIDIA was below VWAP, Tesla breaking down below VWAP, Amazon above, so is Meta, but they're both printing red candles right now. Apple just touched the 10 exponential moving average at 232. It is bouncing, though, off that 232 level for now, underlying that for now. Let's see where this market has to offer, because we just got a bit of a drop there without explanation. So we'll keep tabs on the market right now. I'm hearing Adara call for maybe an update. So maybe she's got some for us. I'll wait for the call from the production team, and I just got it. Adara's at the big desk.
So I hear him seeing that apparently Trump and Xi are not speaking today, as reported by the Wall Street Journal, despite an earlier claim from Donald Trump's trade advisor suggesting that they would speak. Yes, they're not talking today, which means there's still going to be some uncertainty with regards to tariffs in China. Now, about 24 hours ago, Donald Trump did say that he and Xi were going to speak probably within the next 24 hours. So we're going to have to wait and see on that. But Wall Street Journal reporting that this talk will not take place today. If I see anything else, I'll let you know. Back to you.
Thank you very much for that, Adara. Yeah, there you go. So we're going to have to deal with this kind of stuff. Obviously, it's good because it gives us volatility, but when you're in a position, maybe not so good. So President Xi, President Donald Trump, obviously that relationship's going to be very much in focus if it wasn't already. Now with China slapping America with retaliatory tariffs. I'll get to the details in those in a second, guys. But it is interesting because it was a little bit higher than I expected China to retaliate with, because some of the tariffs are a little bit higher. So let's go through it. 15% tariffs on coal and liquefied natural gas. We call that LNG. He's going to slap 10% tariffs on U.S. crude oil, agricultural machinery, and certain cars. This all starts February 10th. And then in addition to that, he's going to put export controls, essentially not allow the export of the following. Tungsten, I don't know how to say the other ones. Tellurium, ruthenium, I really suck, I do apologize. Molybdenum, am I saying that right, chat? Fact check me. Key materials, obviously, I'm not asking you, Ram. Key materials for tech and the defense industries. And then he's also going to slap Google with that investigation, widely viewed as symbolic. Google does less than 1% of their international revenue in China. They essentially shut down search back in 2010. My understanding is they still have a little bit of a digital ad business left in China. So that still operates advertising platforms for Chinese firms. Analysts view this as a strategic warning rather than an immediate threat. Obviously, because I would submit to you guys, sanctions on Apple or sanctions on Tesla that do way more business in China would be a lot more far-reaching than on a company that does less than 1% of its global revenues, Joseph. So that's a look right now. I'm not in anything. I got stopped out of Google on that drop down in the market. I'm still holding BKSY. It's trying to hold the volume weighted average price. My stop is in place. If it doesn't hold up here, it's got like 10 more pennies, and then I'm out of this trade. Otherwise, we're going to look to do, we'll look to move back up on this one. Otherwise, we'll look for another one. Now, the other one could come in the form of a ticker by the name of RCAT. So I was interested in this one earlier because it was reaching that $10 area. I perceived it to be a possible candidate to break through 10, 986, the high of the day. Now we're down into that 40 penny area. And as I said, the volume weighted average price, as well as this area crest over here, this area of previous resistance at around 940, could be an interesting opportunity for a long. I'm talking about RCAT. Do we have it up on a trading screen? Allow me a second over here. We do not, so we will load that. RCAT trades on the NASDAQ. So let's give this one the old college try, Joseph, and I'm going to give it to below 40s. It doesn't hold that level. That's the end of the try. How about you do? What are you doing up there, buddy?
Yeah, just giving the old college, the old JUCO try over here on PLTR. So let's see if we can slowly climb higher. Gorev, we put in that candle that I was looking for. It's not as isolated I was like, and we don't have the volume signature, but I still like this buying pressure on it. So I do think that we can come back and test the volume weighted average price on this, Gorev, because I know you're always looking out for these signals. So I'm rocking with you. So let's see if this happens. I know you were in the short. I mean, the long not too long ago, but again, we broke through some key support levels, and then now running into some key pre-market levels right now as well too, guys. So let's just keep that in mind here. So as you can see, we're holding some bases. So Opto, but did not chart this level where you took the long. Yeah, I mean, look, so yeah, Gorev, let's get into this a little bit here. And I mean, it just happens to be a coincidence on where the print happened to be. So here we go with that, but then running into some bases here. So that was yesterday in the after hours as well too. So just going back a little bit in history here and holding these levels. If we breach that 102, then potentially we can see some more downside. So that's where I've seen the support, looking for it to hold and getting a little bit of a bounce. But I mentioned like, hey, that pivot isn't as isolated as we like. So, but let's see what Adara has to say about this. So she says 103 and 104.3 have been levels on PLTR. Yeah, very valid points there by Adara. So I think she's looking at the same thing that I'm looking at. So good look there. Multiple eyes on the same thing is always good. We like that. And Google is starting to bounce back. Did you take another stab at Google there, Sharif, or not just yet?
No, brother.
Okay,
is it bouncing back?
It looks like it's going to bounce a little bit here as the overall market looks like it's going to continue. We're going to wait for this 5-minute candle to print before we look to get involved on that. But other than that, that's what I got my eyes on right now is Palantir and Google and the broader market as well too. So I mean, from a breadth standpoint, other than the top 7 names, I was listening to some analysts the other day, and they're just saying, yeah, we're still trading relatively cheap, like around 19 times forward earnings. So, I mean, that's not overly expensive relative to the market. But again, it's the big 7 names that are starting to get slightly extended and maybe looking to pull back a little bit. But I mean, earnings are starting to justify. So just go with the flow, especially with names like Palantir and Amazon and Google coming up this afternoon. So looking forward to those and seeing what's coming up.
That's going to be big, Joseph, for sure. I think Google, we kind of know what the situation is. We're expecting digital ad sales to be good. We'll look at YouTube. Definitely listening for CapEx, how much they're going to spend on CapEx. We heard Meta reaffirm 60 to 65.
Yeah, I think
your boy Satya, Microsoft as well, said 80 and change. Google's saying something way less, Joseph, and this kind of stood out to me. I don't know how you feel about this. They're talking about 13 billion.
Okay.
Now, I don't know how much they've spent already, because they could have quite a bit of infrastructure under their belt. But we're talking analysts, that are gauging this. Where's my Google review? That's Palantir. Allow me a second just to find goggles over here. There it is. So we're talking about 13.2. Analysts expect Q4 CapEx. So sorry. That's Q4. My bad. Okay, so now we're talking about quarterly, so that makes more sense. Yeah. You multiply that by 4, all of a sudden we're in that same range. So that makes a lot more sense. They're looking for it to rise, Joseph, from 13 billion that they spent Q3 to 13 and a quarter in Q4. What do they talk about for Q1 of 25? Do we get 14 and a quarter? Then you multiply that bad boy by 4, and all of a sudden we're looking the same thing.
We're looking at hefty numbers there. I agree with you, Sharif. So I think that's going to be a key data point right there is AI spend. So we got to keep an eye out for those. And we know what happened. Apple reported, right? So we know that they're not spending as much as their counterparts, right? Like Google, like Meta, and all these other companies. So let's see what Google's up to. I still think that this company is so strong. Apparently, the valuations. If you were to break this company up, kind of like it was tried to be. So they're worth more than what the valuations are worth more than what it is now. What Google's priced in. So I like Waymo. I like Gemini. I like what else do we got here? YouTube and etc. This thing is just a monster company, and I think it's going to continue to grow. A lot of people say they don't even watch cable TV anymore. It's just strictly YouTube. Yeah. So it's like, yeah, I'm around the same boat. I'll just turn on CNBC or Trader TV Live, most importantly, and just run through all the videos. Like, I don't need anything else really, because that's what I enjoy to watch. So
yeah, man, and I wouldn't have cable if it didn't come with my condo fee.
You got the Vibe? I would have the Vibe? It just comes
called
with
Xfinity now.
Yeah, is it?
They're taking the playbook out of the American
Xfinity
page.
there.
Yeah, because it's an American company. I think it's which is it? Verizon Xfinity, guys? You can fact check me, but it's American anyway. Guys, LTRY. Now, I didn't have eyes on this one because it's sub 85 pennies, and I filter my scanner, my small cap gapper scanner, by 85 pennies at the lowest. But this is a big boy mover, 12 o'clock. What the hell is the headline here? Lottery.com shares are trading higher after the company announced an international operations expansion by targeting Europe, Africa, and other emerging markets. Okay, I'll have to read more about this. Adara, though, she's got some for us at the big desk right now.
Talk about the Josh Brown pump from time to time. What happens when Rithol's management CEO and podcaster Josh Brown goes on CNBC and talks about stocks. And today's Josh Brown pump recipient is Bristol Myers Squibb, BMY. You can see it literally just out of the corner of my eye here on CNBC, and it's circulating on X. Josh Brown announces that he has purchased Bristol Myers Squibb here, and you can see the initial reaction on the chart. So BMY on watch with the Josh Brown pump, as we refer to it here. Back to the Bash Brothers. Make sure to like and subscribe.
So obviously we're not affiliated with them, with the compound I'm talking about, Joseph, but they had your friend Danny Ives on.
Danny Ives, yeah.
Danny Ives was on the compound. Listened to that one on the weekend, and they paid homage to my man Danny. I'm talking about Batnick and Josh. They dressed up in Daniel Ives-esque attire.
Okay. All right.
Oh yeah. They were wearing the lovely highlight colors. Let's call them that. I mean, my man. What's that?
The floral clothing.
Yeah, very floral, dude. It was a topical, yeah. Tropical, more like it, Bongzilla. It was interesting. He's a noted bull. Like, I feel like that dude doesn't have a bearish bone in his body. And most guys that are long the market or bullish on the market at least have like a bear case scenario. I've never heard one come out of that guy, but I love listening to him. I think he's very optimistic, and so far he's been right. So that's the situation. Adara, how's that short going, bro? You're out? How's that even possible? You're still printing to the low side. You trailed, didn't you? Yeah. Adara had a fantastic short on PLTR. Shout out to her. Good look there, Adara. We're going to shout you out anyway. But anyway, LTRY, this is a good looker right now. 75 pennies acting as resistance. It's more like 74 pennies. So working its way up into that $0.75 area. I'm involved in RCAT. Took a couple of outs on the way up already. It's going to have to hold VWAP. The only reason I'm in RCAT right now is for a VWAP hold. So if it doesn't hold VWAP, that's the end of my trade right there. So we're going to keep a look out there. Look on that. West, y'all. LTRY. That's the one we were talking about, West. We're going to keep an eye out on that one. I'm assuming he's long because he says it's going. I've already kept it on the side chart. I'm looking for something, maybe around VWAP, 61 pennies, 62 and a half pennies. Let me know exactly what you're looking at that, West, y'all. But I've got it on my side chart right now. Definitely have eyes on it. And we'll be very interested in it if it sets up the right way, Joseph.
Yeah, good luck there, guys. Don't forget the Playmaker is up. We got 700 votes already. So let's hit some record numbers there, guys. Get those votes in on the Playmaker. Let me pull it up and see what we got cooking up. From an equity curve standpoint, we've reached all-time highs on this thing. So hey, the long seems to work. And we talk about Danny Ives being a perma-bull, but again, the guy's hit some real serious trades. Like, he's been calling out Palantir probably since Sean has been calling it out before then. It was trading around like 16, 17, even a little less than that. He's like, man, these guys are a pure AI play. And if anybody who listened to the call yesterday, Alex Karp is definitely an interesting character. So, the way
say that again.
The way he ended it was definitely interesting. So, rule with an iron fist is essentially his motto, guys. But here we go with the Playmaker. Get those votes in, folks. From 0 all the way up to here. So, congratulations, some deep pullbacks. But this plan seems to work, so we're going to continue to milk it until it doesn't. So if we go negative, then we're going to have to switch it up. And I know I mentioned before we're going to get some options contracts on that, so we'll do something to spice it up a little bit, all right? So let me know, guys. Throw some ideas in the chat as well, too, on what you guys think we should do for the Playmaker, because I'm having fun and just collecting data with that. So that's something I do every day, whether it be in my own trading or sitting here. So, looking forward to that. What do you got going on there?
I just want to show the lovely colors there. It's just kind of what, just show it quickly and then I'll take it off if we can. But these are the colors. And they didn't want to actually wear these colors, but that's the look. So shout out to Danny Ives. I don't even know what brand that is, dude. It's interesting there, and you could tell like the brands they got were
Danny Ives and Tom Lee and JB are my favorite. Josh Brown,
Tom Lee.
I love Tom. I love Tom Lee.
Such a student of the game.
Yeah, he is, man, and he's really smart. So he's a bull as well too. But he also lays it out, right? He'll be like, hey, there may be some short-term headwinds in the market, but in the long term, there is a lot of tailwinds. The fundamentals are supporting these moves higher. So here we go, and we're kind of in, I guess, what, stagflation? Or I don't know if you want to call it that, but it's not like the Fed are going to raise rates anytime soon, I don't think, especially. So, there's a lot of tailwinds for the long term in the market here. So I'm looking forward to see what's to come.
Absolutely. All right, we're holding up at VWAP here on the future, so we're going to give this one a bit of a try. And we got some key levels coming up for some of these Mag 7 names. So let's see if we can get a nice bump up at that 21,550 point area on the future. Let's throw in some orders, some stops over here. Let's go ahead and put that bad boy there. There we go. So we're going to give that one a try. Still holding my RCAT position. It's really not doing a whole lot right now. I've been waiting for this one to pop up through that $0.50. It seems like it's encountering resistance at 56 pennies. And 56 pennies was a bit of a resistance area there, or sorry, support area on the way down, moving back up into 55. So keep an eye out on that. I'm also looking at Apple. It's at the 20 exponential moving average on the 5. It bounced off that level before, so this could be an interesting area on Apple as well. All right, we just got a print there on the future. Let's take out some more there. All right, nice move up right now on the future. Okay, not too bad, not the greatest, but not bad. Bouncing off the volume weighted average dang price and that 21,550 area. So here's what I'm looking at on Apple, and this is kind of why I was thinking maybe to weasel into the trade here. I don't typically trade Apple, but this was the pullback into the 20 exponential, and the 20 exponential moving average on the 5-minute chart is always yellow on my charts. And so it comes into that area, it doesn't even touch it, curls back up, and then we make new highs. Now this time, it does wick below based upon that market action that we got on the future dropping back down. And now we have a hammer candle. We have a bottoming tail candle showing buyer exuberance, trying to work up into 232. We'll see if this level wants to hold here on AAPL. It's a good look right now, but not in it at the moment. We're going to send it to Adair at the big desk.
We do have Robinhood on watch here. I literally just saw this. I flipped to Bang Zynga, and it's been a bit of a downtrend today, basically. Apparently receiving a formal request from the Commodities Trade Commission here, basically, to roll back its pro football championship market. Apparently, the CFTC requesting that Robinhood derivatives not permit customers access to these sport events contracts. Robinhood's response is apparently that they are disappointed by the outcomes. Keep an eye here on our HOOD CFTC asking them to roll back their pro football betting, I guess. Also keep an eye here in DKNG, DraftKings. They're actually pushing up higher as a result here. So DraftKings, as Robinhood, apparently told not to allow sports betting. DKNG makes highs of days. So keep an eye on DraftKings and Hood here. And make sure to like and subscribe if you're enjoying what we're bringing to you guys. Back to you.
So thank you, Adair, for bringing up DraftKings. We didn't get a chance, Brendan and I, to cover DKNG at any length because it was time to ring the bell. But there is a bit of an issue right now with these, what are they called? Online sports betting, OSB apps. So a lot of states, they want to fundamentally change the tax code on how these bad boys are taxed. Let's talk about it. So several U.S. states, including Maryland, Indiana, are considering higher tax rates on OSBs, online sports betting, increased tax pressures, operating margins, forcing trade-offs in promotional spending, odds, growth strategies. It eats in your margins and it changes how you do business. I mean, that's basically the look there. So TD Cowen lowered its price target today on DraftKings from 55 to 51, citing obviously a projected 425 adjusted EBITDA lower than expectations. There is also the issue that they didn't do that well in terms of the actual bets. So they try to pump these, again, I'm not a gambler, so I have no idea, same game parlays. Maybe Joseph can talk about this at a bit more length. So same SGPs, they call it, same game parlays. They drive player engagement and betting volume, but they also introduce volatility for operators. So what ended up happening is that they had unfavorable sports outcomes, which led to higher payout events. So earnings obviously got into there. And so they're expected to see higher than expected losses during certain periods, I'm assuming, for that. We're going to wet our beak some more here on the future as we move up off the volume-weighted average price. I'm long triple Qs at 43. We just took some there at 77s. We're up 2.5% on the triple Qs, which is a levered product, right? Thank you, Joseph. I appreciate you. We're going to see if we can continue moving up. We definitely have some resistance here at that 82.80 level. You can see we kind of consolidated in and around that level, work up to it. Lo and behold, we're rejecting. So we're going to keep an eye out on the future. Obviously still involved in my friend Arcat. How's my friend Arcat doing? Okay, Arcat's behaving now, Joseph, because we got that print at 60s. Happy about that. Now we have no more orders pending, so we got to set up some, and you know where I'm going to sit. If I'm in the 60s, I'm sitting at 69. So we're going to keep an eye out on Arcat. But yeah, that is the headline with DKNG. Very interesting, because that's a bit of a curveball. You, as a company, plan out, your full year 2025 expectations based on how you did in 2024, based on some of your business plans, and then all of a sudden you get that curveball vis-a-vis the change in the tax code, and then you have to rethink the entire thing. So DKNG, really interesting right now. We could definitely get some more analysts chiming in on this. I mean, if TD Cowan's chiming in.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not like, so a lot of my buddies are heavy into sports gambling, so my phone is just absolutely littered with game day parlay pictures and all their bet three. Yeah, like it's just littered. So essentially what they are is just, you can pick one game, right, Sharif? And then you can pick various amounts of bets within that game. So you can go like touchdowns by someone over, catches by someone over or under, or yards, right? So it's not overly complicated or anything along those lines. But as for the online sports betting, again, not a realm that I'm overly familiar with, because I just like, it's like, okay, when I was young, used to do the pro lines and the pools and everything. But then I was like, I got other things to worry about, and I don't want to be sit and glued to a screen watching. I don't need more things to be antsy about watching football or hockey or UFC or anything along those lines. So not anything I'm overly familiar. So, but yeah, here we go, guys. In some PLTR, we're gonna try it again to see if we can get this bounce back to the volume weighted average price. If it doesn't, then we might have. The trend has changed, so let's draw some trend lines here and do some basic technical analysis on how some of the boys, maybe in the back and even myself, would look at these. So what we got here is this primary trend, multiple touches, whatever you want to use. We can use that low, but as long as we have multiple touches, then you can determine, hey, this is where we're looking to go. So I would draw it like that on these key pivots, or even something along these lines here. Oops, totally subjective stuff. But that trend line can be breached. Oh, that's not even today. What am I doing? Hello. Not even so here we go. Taking a lot longer than what I anticipated. But yeah, I mean, so there we go. We can breach that trend line there, guys. And then now to the downside. So we are on the backside of it, which is totally fine. I would maybe suggest that we get a retest of around 600 if the SPY wants to bounce off of VWAP, which it might. And there was an interesting question in the chat as well, too. It's like, why do you guys just trade VWAP instead of chart patterns? It's not. It's a correlation of both, right? Everything can be classified as a pattern. We're looking at something around the volume-weighted average price, and it can all print the same, right? So that's a pattern, right? It's the same occurring thing. So that's just, I think, how I look at the market is I'm looking for indecision candles at specific areas. And one of those specific areas is the volume-weighted average price, because I use it as a line in the sand, right? So if I have a line in the sand, stock prices move. Unless they're going sideways, we got three directions, up, down, and sideways. So at some point, the line will be deviated from. So that's what I look for, and I use the VWAP as that deviation line to find whether I'm going to go long and short, and the price action candle prints in that. The reason why I don't use moving averages is because they hug and they are very tight to price action. Other people do. For me, I prefer not to. I like to keep my things simple, and with that, I just use price action, the correlation between price and volume weighted average price. So a lot of volume and price there.
That's a great explanation, dude. I do appreciate that, definitely. All right, guys, we're involved in LTRY for a VWAP hold, come what may. So they did technically breach VWAP, held 60 pennies. Let's see if this one wants to move back up. I'm layering my orders here. It's up 100%. It's I don't want to say it's a midday mover, but yeah, it kind of is. I mean, it started popping off at 12.05, and then you get a big retracement off that 74 penny, touch and drop, and now we breach VWAP, but we hold at 60 pennies. First beak wetter for me, in other words, first profit taker, if you're newer to the show, I'm waiting around 64 pennies. So exactly what we get, we'll have to wait and see over here, but some buying, keeping this above 60 right now. We'll have to see whether or not this squeezes, and gives me a couple of prints to the high side. I've put my orders out as resting orders. Let's have a look at the other one here, the triple Qs, excuse me, coming back down a little bit. So I'm in waiting north of 80, or sorry, I'm waiting to front run $83. But that necessarily takes us above this 82.80, which I perceive to be a bit of a local area of resistance. I got in here for a VWAP dip and a 50-point dip on the futures contract, charting on the futures, executing on the T triple Qs. Okay, here we go. Back to LTRY. It's trying to go into that 64 penny area. 64 rejects, comes back into 63. We're going to have to pack our patience. RCAT. I'm involved in that one as well. And what I did with RCAT is I moved up my stop. So initially I had my stop below 44s. I've moved it now into 48s to defend my entry price. So I'm not going to give back anything here on RCAT. The best print I had was 60s, and then it kind of rejected. To be expected, though, that 60s would act as a level of resistance. When you have a look at this area over here, this area trough that we bounced off, I'm talking about $9.60, and then we moved back into that $9.82. So 60 has shown itself on the day to be support. It stands to reason, if you believe in technical analysis, that it may act as resistance once it's breached to the downside, and that's exactly what it did here. But on the other side of the coin, so that's bearish. The other side of the coin that's bullish is we have successively 3 higher crests now on the bounce. So this is the area low into 44s. Then you have an area low at 50, and then, sorry, at 48s, and then you have an area low at 50. So let's see what we get there. LTRY rejects, so it didn't get into 64. I have my stop at 57s because it's below VWAP, so I'm risking very little over here. We're long 63. We're going to get out at 57s if it doesn't hold. So that's a bit of a, this one looks like it might be a loser on LTRY. Sad. But that's kind of how that works. Okay, TQQs moving right back into my entry. So let's, or sorry, into moving closer to my profit taker. That's what I'm trying to say, guys. I'm waiting at 94s. It's showing me 89s. It's breached now that 80 penny area that I was perceiving to be some resistance. So good look right now on the TQQs, but we're still going unprinted, sadly, there as it works its way up. How's my boy RCAT doing? Well, RCAT's continuing to move higher highs. Yeah. So that's the situation. Okay, LTRY defends again that 60 penny area. And again, it moves into 64s, 63s and a half, but it's not printing me. So I'm going to have to either wait. Here we go. 64s now showing up. There's the first print. There's a second print now on LTRY. Can we get some higher highs though? We still have a lower high. The previous 5-minute candle has a high of 67 and a third. We're at 64 and a half. So we haven't even gotten close yet. All right, we definitely need that higher high to keep the trend moving and to possibly squeeze up to the upside over here. I'm waiting next at 66 and then 67s. You guys get it. I'm layering my orders. It's up 106%. What's your look, Joseph?
Yeah, same. Someone in the chat asked me to take a look at Clover Health for them, so we'll pull that up. What I see right now is an inverted hammer, so a potential short maybe on this thing at an extreme high. So watch out for this candle. If it breaches to the top side, then thesis invalid. But other than that, it looks like it might get a short back into VWAP. Let's zoom out here a little bit and see what we got going on from a daily perspective. And I mean, hey, this thing's really starting to recover here. I mean, still far off of those all-time highs. I don't know if there's been any splits or anything along those lines. But as of right now, off of these May lows, April lows, it's up significant. So let's take a look from a percentage metric and see what we got cooking up here. About 610% off of those April lows, guys. So yeah, really good look there on Clove, and especially from an intraday perspective, starting to trade higher. We like this one as of right now, but again, watch out for that potential short signal. I know Sharif says that these small caps don't necessarily abide by some of the rules that we play by with the large and the mega caps, so keep that in mind. Again, you have those risk parameters in place, so then therefore you know when you can get out of that trade. If it breaks that high, then that's it. The short is no longer valid for as of right now. The timing may just be off. Be prepared for that and be prepared to execute once again. So, but here we go with PLTR, same thing. Timing may be just slightly off here. Looking for that bounce back into 104, but as of right now, it's not seeming like we're going to get it. This thing is still up about 21%, closer to 22 here on the session, guys. So I was just watching this thing soar on the report yesterday. So a breath here. I think we're close to that report high now, so that's nothing to be too worried about. And I still think that this thing is a buy all the way up here, especially with what they forecasted for Q1 of this year. So looking forward to that on PLTR. I think 1.25 on this thing's name, probably by summertime or at some point by the next report at least. So yeah, that's the look on PLTR. Let's see what we got going on IBIT here, guys. Just forming this consolidated range here. I was going to think, hey, maybe is this thing ready for a long? But what happened is we filled part of this gap here from an intraday perspective. Again, you won't see these gaps on a spot itself, but you'll see them in IBIT. But we covered there, went close to some key resistance levels for something that was acting as former support, now running into actually resistance. So again, nice consolidation phase. We're going to look for the volume and look to participate and see which way this thing breaks. But as of right now, I think we're going to run through some key support levels on IBIT and potentially head more to the downside.
All right. Yeah, no problem. We're going to do that ad read in a quick sec. But guys, I took some more profits here on the future as it got above that 80 penny level. I'm still waiting at 92s. I decided to de-risk a little bit over here because we're having trouble working our way back up. So if that was the case, I wanted to make sure I locked in some profits. I did the same thing on LTRY, took some profits at 64s, but we got to pay some bills, baby. Hive Digital Technologies trades on the NASDAQ under HIVE, is pioneering the digital transformation through sustainable AI solutions and Bitcoin mining. It's a global leader in cutting-edge data center operations with over 2,700 Bitcoin on their balance sheet. Hive consistently tops the industry in Bitcoin mined per exahash and is redefining the future by powering the world's most transformative technologies with efficient, green, and clean energy. If you want to learn more, follow them at Hive Digital Tech or go to their website at hivedigitaltech.com and sign up for the Hive newsletter for updates. Shout out to the great folks at Hive. Again, guys, trades on the NASDAQ under HIVE. One that I have on my watch list and I had on my watch list far before they were ever a sponsor, so they're well known. So that's the look right now. We're in 3 positions. The Qs are not forthcoming to the high side. We're still putting higher lows though on the Qs. So every successive trough a little bit higher than its predecessor with that $83 area on the key triple Qs acting as a bit of resistance. My boy RCAT continues to also put a little bit of higher lows, but I'm anticipating and I have been seeing that resistance at 60 pennies over and over. We'll see whether this one can take out 60 pennies or not. But LTRY is coming back down now below 60, and I have to be careful because I've got shares on here. It's breaking 60 pennies, but the thing is it keeps bouncing up off the 60 penny area. So maybe I should just de-risk on the range and then leave a piece for the breakout. So I think that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to throw an order at 63 pennies, and it has a lot of buying strength off the lows. It loses steam once it comes into the consolidation area high. There's not enough buying there. But anytime it dips into that low 60s, high 50s area, it seems to be bought up with aggression. At least it was. We'll see if that continues. But there is buying strength on this, just not at the areas that I want, which is funny. So we'll keep tabs on LTRY, Joseph. Trying to hold up, but it looks like I might get stopped out.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so guys, Clove is starting to approach that high a day. So I don't think that short is any more valid. So that is that, guys. And again, tried here on PLTR on the bounce, and these bounces are just not happening right now. And I don't think this is waterfall-esque type price action. Ooh. You could possibly get the bounce in some of these strong names, but as of right now, I'm not picking the bottom. So that's what it is. You can see 0 for 2 there on PLTR, and it is what it is. Google's slowly starting to climb back towards the volume-weighted average price. You're still in a banger there on TQQs, I can see there, Sharif. So, okay. I mean, hovering above above VWAP now, so good luck there on him by Sharif. So he picked the bottom nice on that one, so congratulations on that trade.
Joseph, can I just cover one quick thing?
What you got to cover.
All right, so I forgot who was for. Let me see if I can just go back in the chat and see who was for there so I can call them out because they've been asking a lot, and I keep forgetting to do it, and I do apologize for that. Let me just have a look. It's for GRRR. Grrr, and this is definitely one that I've traded before. I'm just trying to look to see who was AK. Shout out to AK. So you've been asking about GRR, and here we go. We're gonna cover GRR for you. So this is the look on GRRR. It's up 8 2/3 right now. It's a good look, but it's below VWAP, my man. So this one now, the volume's a little light on it. First and foremost, it's only done about 2 million shares traded on the day. That's not that much. It's below VWAP, so that usually removes it from my trading outlook, as it's got to be trading above VWAP for me to stay interested here. But if this one gets above VWAP and starts putting in higher highs and higher lows, I could get interested. But until that time, it's a no-go for me. I'm sorry. Just a very, very brief explanation. We're going to send it to Adair at the big desk.
Just got news, too, so this is perfect here. Fed's Powell apparently going to be testifying before the Senate. We know he has his testimony here. That's going to be on February 11th, so stay tuned for that. That'll be next Tuesday. I will be giving you guys those updates. Those could always be a really interesting time to hear how he responds to the Senate, so do stay tuned for that. Sometimes that can not necessarily move things, but certainly be a nice area to see where Fed Powell thinks inflation's going. NVVE, though, is actually the reason for this throw. This is Nuvi Holdings. Some people mentioned it in the chat, and I looked at this. I'm not seeing any news on NVVE, but it's worth noting there's not a ton of volume in this as of yet. It just got going. We're about 1 million shares traded on the day. But NVVE has a very small float. I'm seeing about 750,000 shares. So micro float here for NVVE, about 0.8% short float. So not a significant short float, but that float is very small. If I see any news on this, I'll let you know. Back to you.
Very much, Adair, and shout out to EVO Hugs, because he was calling out NVV and he tagged me multiple times. Thank you for tagging me because it helps me see it a little bit better. And thank you for Adara for bringing that to us. It's moving up big boy here. I'm talking about NVVE. Good squeeze. Nary a red candle on the chart right now, but you're going to have to be careful with this because I'm watching how it trades. I haven't even looked at the book quite yet, but I can already tell you it's a little bit spready just based on how it's moving right now. But it is a good look. 455 HOD, Joseph. We're definitely going to have to keep this one on the side chart. I did interrupt you, and I do apologize.
No, don't apologize ever. I mean, when things are coming out, just report them. Feel free. But yeah, guys, a lot of people. Parth Gandhi is asking us about RGTI and how I feel about it. Well, I'll tell you how I feel about RGTI right now. I thought this thing was going to be a little bit, well, it is in play. The volume was there from this morning, but I thought we would maybe start trending. I was looking to get involved in this thing, but then I started to dive into some of the fundamentals of the company, and it's not, Sean and I were laughing this morning. He's like, yeah, it's not making any money. So they've missed essentially on every report for the past 4 quarters as far as I went back. So not something that I would like to get involved with, especially when I was just comparing PLTR's previous earnings, EPS, and revenue compared to this quarter. So they're just consistently beating analyst estimates. So that's something that I want to see, and that growth is continuously there. I don't see this in RGTI. They're still not making money. They're still missing on EPS. So not something I'm going to look to get involved with for the long term. I mean, can they turn it around? Absolutely. And I hope they do, because, I mean, I want to have fun with this thing as well as everybody else has been trading it. But as of right now, it doesn't look like this consolidation phase on RGTI is going to be breached and headed to the top side. So I think there might be some potential more downside on this thing, but it was definitely memeing and in play with all that quantum computing noise. But we're going to send it off to Adara.
Sorry for the interruption, guys. We have more news, and it is tariff-related, or at least related to these talks here. So apparently the spokesperson for the White House has said there's no update as of right now on the timing of the call between Donald Trump and Xi. Apparently it's being scheduled, but it will happen, quote, very soon. So to recap all of this, yesterday Donald Trump said that he would be talking to Xi within the next 24 hours, probably, quote. And then today we had Trump's trade advisor, Peter Navarro, saying that this call was in fact happening today. Then about an hour after that, Wall Street Journal reports actually the talk's not happening today. And now, apparently, it will be happening very soon. So no updates on that. The second I see anything, I will, of course, let you know. But at least now we have this coming from the spokesperson for the White House themselves. So we will be getting some kind of updates apparently very soon. These talks will be. Also, I just saw here, apparently, Asahi reporting that Honda and Nissan may end their merger talks. So keep an eye on HMC. Back to you.
Interesting.
Brendo.
Hey, Honda and Nissan.
All right.
Yeah, merger talk. Yeah, I'm just cover PayPal here real quick, see what we got going on. Potential bottoming signal. I didn't dive too much into the report here, but apparently transactions are slightly down year over year, something along those lines. Yeah, so here we go with PayPal. Nice candle right here. This is what we're going to look to play, this indecision candle. You can see that we have consecutive red ones, and then now we put in that isolated volume signature with that doji, looking for the bounce there on PayPal.
Yeah, man. Interesting look. I had some videos saved that I want to share, but I can't find them. All right. Well, that's okay.
On what? Waymo videos?
Oh, yeah, that was a good one. The dude did the tuck and roll. He was worried for his life there. I can't find them. I'll look for them. It was DeepSeek related.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, interesting. So Lex Friedman, obviously not associated with the show, he's got a 5-hour podcast on AI.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and mostly about DeepSeek, yes. And the reason I'm even bothering listening to it is because, well, you always feel a little bit funny reporting on this stuff when you don't have a full understanding. And I don't expect to have a full understanding. I'm not an engineer, right? But I definitely want to have something more than superficial understanding. And so hopefully after 5 hours, I may have that.
Yeah, hopefully.
No, so it's really interesting how they're doing
Take a lot of notes.
yeah, no notes, just the drive to work. And I seem to have a lot of listening abilities in the morning. You're just, I sessioned, right? You showered, you're kind of like in the clear. It's still dark in the morning, so you're chilling. Nobody's on the road, so you're not aggravated by all the dumbass drivers, right? So it's more chill. So you can take in a little bit more. Interesting podcast. If you guys want to get a little bit deeper into how DeepSeek, no pun intended, obviously, is doing what they're doing, Lex Friedman dives into this with a couple of, obviously, data center AI engineers who really kind of look at this from a very technical perspective. And, it's some of it's very impressive, and some of it's just like, you can kind of stuff that we already knew. You know what I mean? What are you giggling about now?
Well, read what MB3 said in the chat.
MB3. Let's see what my man Sharif stays in right-wing echo chambers.
Echo chambers.
What's his name? Is Lex Friedman right-wing?
I don't know, man.
I would consider him right-wing.
I would not say that.
I think he will meet with anybody and everybody, right? Like I think Lex Friedman is. I think he's cool. That's just my opinion. Yeah. But yeah, that's the look right now, guys. We just took another print there on the future. We're well in the money here, Joseph. We took out 83s on the triple Qs. We're still holding some on this bad boy. Let's see if it continues to move up.
Go Google, man.
Get it, Google. Oh, nice retracement. Yeah, I wouldn't have had that, Joseph. That was a 204 hold. I was looking for VWAP. Yeah. Good for you, though. Good for you for having that. So that's what I'm looking at right now. We're in the future. We're in RCAT. I'm looking for the future takeout highs. Possibly, we're looking at 21,694. That's the high of the day. So essentially 21.7. Realistically, we could get back into 21.7. How quickly we get there, it's an entirely different story. Yeah, so that's what I'm looking at. Involved in in the future at this level, taking out highs. Let's see how our friend RCAT is doing. Yeah, it's continuing to put in higher lows. Definitely should have taken maybe something out at 64s there. Still waiting at 69s. What else are you guys looking at in the chat? Tag me if you guys are looking at something new. Let's see what people are talking about over here. Lex is a top G as well, says officially on Bird. My man. All right. What's it called? The DeepSeek YouTube? No, man. Joe Logan. I don't know if you're being funny there, but
no, I think it's a genuine question. What's the podcast called?
The podcast is by a guy named Lex Friedman, right? Okay. So you just Google Lex Friedman. He's gonna have his own YouTube page.
I think that was a genuine question.
I don't know. All right. Ostentatious Productions. You make me chuckle, bro. I'm not gonna even read it out, but yeah, that's funny. Let's see what else people are. So Steph enjoys listening to Lex's convos. I know, but you got to have patience up the wazoo, Steph, because this guy's podcasts are no less than 2-3 hours. And I just finished mentioning this is 5 hours deep. Like, that's going to take me a week and a half because I usually bang out half an hour in the mornings every day. So, yeah, it's going to take me some time unless I listen.
Like JP. He just has the ability to talk about something but deviates. So.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God, yeah. Let's see what people are talking about. You got EVAX being called out by T-Dog. Let's have a look at EVAX. Not one that I've seen before. EVAX. What's this one? So this is down and to the right now. Up on the day, though, 30%. Good call out. But look, again, I have a very simple rule, a couple of rules for these small cap gappers. They have to be above the pre-market high, and they have to be above VWAP. This one is neither. The pre-market high is right there at 489 that we printed at 7 a.m., and the volume weighted average price is at $4. We're printing 314s right now. So this one doesn't work for me. It's got to get above the white line for me to get interested, to be quite honest with you. It's all bro oligarchy right now. Okay, Ram, calm down.
Bro oligarchy.
Bro, she's always trolling us. Even when she's in the chat, she's trolling us.
I think
it is you. That's not you. That's Fabian.
Fabian, yeah. I think that's the Fabian thing there.
My bad. Shout out to Fabian. Well, then it changes everything when if Fabian. Sorry, Ram. Yeah, that's the look right now. Why is NVIDIA dropping, says Rich X5. NVIDIA's been having a tough day today. It's below VWAP right now. It's been having a tough couple of weeks ever since your boy DeepSeek showed up to the scene and then questioned whether or not everybody was going to be spending up a storm. Look, the hyperscalers have confirmed they will be spending up a storm, at least in the short term, the first, or at least, the next couple of quarters. I guess the street needs to see a little bit more. NVIDIA VWAP rejection could come in at 119 and change. It didn't do a whole lot of VWAP holding. It was putting in lower highs. It looked like destined to break down. I like NVIDIA short possibly at 119 and a quarter to 119 and change because of the area resistance. I acted as previous support. It's still up 1 3/4. I won't be trading NVIDIA right now though on the day. So let me know how that goes. RCAT right back into that 964. I'm waiting at 969. Let's see what it's doing. Apple breaking out again and curling. It's not at the high of the day, but Apple is a curl. It's curling up here, Joseph, and I feel awfully silly not having taken this because it's been very respectful of the 20 exponential moving average on the 5-minute chart, AAPL. For whatever reason, catching a bid, probably because it just got decimated the last little bit. I wouldn't be so quick if I was an analyst to, say Apple's escaped possible sanctions from the Chinese government. Let's be honest about this. If the trade war between China and the U.S. starts expanding incrementally, my bet is Apple and Tesla will feel the brunt of that trade war in one way or another. How it happens and to what extent, I think reasonable people can disagree. Apple has been attempting to de-risk from China. We've heard about them opening plants in Vietnam, Foxconn as well, their biggest supplier, I think, opening up in Vietnam. We've heard about India. We've heard about Malaysia. But, this stuff takes time. And we've only been friend-shoring or whatever you want to call it, type of shoring for, like a year and a bit now. So these things take time. So Apple will definitely feel the reverberations of a wider trade war. How they come at Apple is who knows how they do it. But yeah, Tesla as well could absolutely get slapped with that. And we know Tesla uses their China Gigafactory to ship cars to Europe. So that could also be a bit of a problem there if they get slapped with export tariffs, for example. Any Model Ys that they want to ship to Europe could get slapped with a tax. And that could make it markedly higher, the price there. Tesla's not going to absorb that. They're going to pass it on to the consumer, as is typically the case. So, we definitely didn't get that today. We got, this sort of investigation into Google that almost does no business in China. But I think that's just a shot across the bow to let you know that we could expand this trade war if we wanted to. And it would hurt some of your biggest companies. Okay, so I should have been taking profits there, Joseph, at the break of 83 because the future coming back a little bit down now after trying to move up into that 21,625. And guess what? It actually came into a previous area of consolidation low. So look at this 21,625. I actually said this exact level earlier, that this was the consolidation area low that we had been holding up. Lo and behold, when we get to VWAP, move back up. Look where we reject, 21,625. We're 50 points below that now, dropping into 21,575. So that's basically my entry at the point. Well, it's a little bit higher than my entry right now, but the future getting hit a little bit here. Anuvu wants to know my opinion on NVVE. I do like it, Anuvu, but it's not holding above. It briefly is holding above the volume weighted average price. It's got a bit of a sell here at $4. This is just too volatile for me to get involved. They've got to have to hold up here for less than 10 seconds. I'm talking about VWAP, and then I could definitely get involved in that. But good call out by you. Adara brought this to us as well as some others there in the chat. The Piper, Chinese gunboats cruising near Taiwan could crash the market, says the Piper. We've been seeing more belligerencies more interactions between Chinese vessels and even North American vessels. They've been interacting with Canadian vessels because they're patrolling the Strait of Taiwan as well. That's been happening more and more and more. I'm sure American vessels involved in that as well. I've been seeing some stuff with the Air Force as well. Eddie R. Plus sales in Europe of Tesla are falling. Yeah, look, I got to tell you, I don't know if it's Tesla specific. Maybe it is, because I think definitely Europe, they're trying to diversify their EV purchases. But I think Europe's in a little bit of trouble, man. The European economy is not really holding up, and the technology coming out of there, like they don't even have an AI LLM to speak of here. It's like North America and China that are really leading the way. Europe's a little bit behind, yeah, bro. Europe's a little behind right now, and I don't know how I feel about the European economy in general. They're also, very regulatory heavy there. And so that may be dissuading some bigger companies from setting up shop and really taking advantage of the European market. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. Brenrex, XAIR. Would you consider based on the low volume? Let's have a look. So ticker is XAIR. What is this company? Beyond Air. Okay, so 40 penny name, up 11.69%. $29 million market cap. What was the question? Yeah, the volume's low, brother. I mean, it's done 558,000 shares and it's a 39 penny name. Very low volume. Chart pattern, percentage up on the day is good, but as an intraday trade, very hard to manage risk with that kind of look right there. Shout out to Unuview Ostentatious Productions. I've become a short scalping maniac over the last few days. I'm talking Jeffrey Dahmer was an amateur compared to me. Too soon? Just a little bit. But I don't know if it's too soon or not. But I know there was that whole documentary. Maybe that refreshed everything.
I did a high school paper on Jeffrey Dahmer. Yeah, on Jeffrey Dahmer.
I don't like to admit, I think him and I share very close birthdays. I think he's like May 24th or something like that. Yeah. Say that again, Adara? Yeah. Jeffrey, yeah, here it is. Yeah, it's kind of May 21st. Good. He's a little bit of wage there, Joseph. So right, it's okay. Yeah, we can go away.
Yeah.
Shout out. I'm not going to shut him out. What am I saying here?
Yeah.
Vivid Distortion. Have you ever been to Europe? I go to Europe a lot. I studied in Europe for 2 years. I really kind of took Ryanair. I took the opportunity of living in England to kind of move to go around to Europe in different areas. Yeah, I haven't been to Europe, I think, in about 4 or 5 years. But yeah, I've been to Europe a lot. I mean, am I wrong about the economy in Europe? Let me know. I'd like to hear it. Vivid Distortions. Let me know if.
People said it's just relative. It's just healthy, right? It's a different lifestyle too. I guess you've been over there quite often. Yeah, exactly. But I mean, it's just a different lifestyle as well too, man. Which can obviously reflect, like you get the fiesta time, and apparently the work week is shortened as well too. So no, ostentation. He didn't shut him out. But guys, here we go. Let's talk about a little stocks here. We got this IBIT short going on as we run into some key support levels. So trying to keep it clean and see if we can get this breakdown here through the 50-20 level or 56-20, and then maybe we can see some more sell side on IBIT. We are still negative on the session, so looking for that weakness to continue here, and then we're going to look to take some off around that whole dollar on IBIT. But as of right now, Apple and Google is still hovering around the volume weighted average price, have the inability to crack a new high or even go relatively close to testing it. So not looking too good as well. A lot of dark pool wicks here, guys, but I have a definitive out on this one. So if it goes any more sell side, then we're going to look to get out of Dodge on Google, and then maybe the overall weakness in the market is going to continue. But I'm looking for that support break on IBIT, and then looking for somewhat of a bounce here on Google. But let's talk about what else we got after the bell. AMD's after the bell as well too. Is that correct? I'm pretty sure it is. Okay, let's take a look here. And see what we got going on, man. This thing has just been putting in this consolidation zone here near the bottoms, still over, I think, close to a 50% off of those all-time highs, a little bit more maybe. But I mean, that means you need 100% return in this thing just to get back to break even. Ever since this inverted candle at this extreme high, the stock hasn't even looked back and continues to sell. We got a couple pops here, but not much. We still got a lot of gap downs here, and the weakness in this thing is still there. So we're going to need some good numbers and some positive forecasts from Lisa Su in order for this thing to turn around. I don't even know what this thing's standing at from an RSI standpoint, but that forward PE is most definitely come down since Sharif and I looked at it. I remember it was trading at 1,000 times, which is really, really expensive according to the street. So not something you want to be looking to get involved in. But AMD down here at 117. I don't know if it's going to be a good buy yet, but tonight will tell, especially with those outcoming forecasts on it. But yeah, guys, continue to let us know what you're looking at in the chat. What is everybody looking at? Tell me some specific tickers. Pepsi. Okay, yeah, let's take a look at Pepsi, because we were talking about GOP-1 a little bit yesterday and see what happened. They reported this morning as well too, and I'm pretty sure they missed, so not looking too good here on Pepsi. So yeah, heading to the downside, some consolidation going on. Are we going to take that second leg? Maybe, possibly, but let's zoom out a little bit and see what we got going on from a daily perspective. Yeah, and we're heading towards those lows. What is the all-time low on this thing? Yeah, we're not even relatively close on it, but I mean, we're back to some really, really outdated price levels here, Sharif. Like, we're back into 21 levels, 2021. Ooh. So as Sean used that INTC kind of example, is that, like, yeah, you've had your money in this thing for 10 years and essentially made nothing due to inflation. Well, it's looking like to be the same case here in Pepsi. You're back to 2021 levels. So for the past 4 years now, you've made no money unless you've been taking it out the top, but you're back to that break even. But the new poll is up as well too, guys. AMD, you got on there, SMCI, ETH, and PayPal. All right, I'm going to vote AMD here because it is probably one of the more popular earnings besides Google. So looking forward to that one. I will be most definitely trading that as well as Google too, my guy.
All right, there's a big desk.
Oh, sorry, I didn't get that one.
Apparently here we're going to be hearing from David Sachs today, so keep an eye on crypto. He is the AI and crypto czar. Apparently he's going to be speaking about crypto at 2:30 p.m. Eastern. I can find zero information about this talk, and where can I find where you're actually going to be seeing it? So I want to put that out there. It's like pretty vague right now, and I haven't seen it confirmed by any White House-related sources. It's just a lot of media talk, but everyone's saying 2:30 p.m. Eastern, we're going to be hearing from, for the first time really since his initiation as the crypto czar, we're going to be hearing from David Sachs, so keep an eye on that here. That could certainly move some crypto names. David Sachs was also present during the signing of Trump's crypto-related executive order last week, guys.
We share a birthday.
Oh, yeah? You got
yeah. Shout out to David Sachs. All right, guys, we took out the print at 69 on RCAT. Good look up there for RCAT. It was a VWAP hold. That was the only reason we were involved at 48. Done the trade at 69. We're still involved in the futures trade. And I was a little disappointed with myself for not having taken it out at 83.15. But here we go again, moving up into 83. We didn't even hit VWAP last time on that little retracement. I'm talking about this pullback right here in 82.55 on the triple Qs. It wasn't quite a move back into VWAP on the NQ March contract. So it technically is a higher low. Do we get that higher high? The only way to know is if we see a print above that 83.15. But first and foremost, we're going to need to get above that whole dollar, bless you, Joseph, above that $83 level before we can start talking about 83.15. So keeping an eye on the future right now, since my trade on RCAT is done. Let's bring in the side charts over here and shout out eSignal, the best dang charting platform out there. And what I was going to mention, Joseph, is Amazon, because Amazon just weaseled into the volume weighted average price, and it's also strong on the day, up 1.58%. It's got a 2-candle hold up on the 5-minute chart at VWAP, and it's hasn't quite made it yet, but looking to make the first 5-minute candle to make a new high. Amazon is at VWAP. Tesla is also at VWAP, but from the wrong side, from the south side, not the north side. So you may be looking at Tesla for a different trade. Google's at VWAP as well. I think Joseph had a banger entry on that, but it's kind of, whiffling and waffling at VWAP in a way that I don't want to be involved in. But this Amazon trade, possibly I could be persuaded to weasel into this Amazon trade right now. The reason I'm looking at Amazon and these other names is I'm not really pleased with the small cap gappers that are out there. I know there's NVVE. I know there's CAPT. Let me know if you need to interrupt me, bro.
No. Okay. I'm looking at your screen. Yeah. I'm looking at the eSig here.
Yeah, I was worried about that. Yeah. I'm not really pleased with the small cap gappers that are out there right now. So we're going to look at the MAG, try to weasel into the MAG a little bit over here. So possibly a VWAP entry for me on the Amazonian. We'll have to wait and see if that comes in or not. Sharif, when is your birthday? May 25th, baby. That's why I like that number 25, and I think it really just has to do with that. I'm always taking prints at 25 and 82s and all that weird stuff. I'm very, very superstitious in that way. Crypto G, yes, Crypto G. We have the same birthday. We'll talk about that once Joe's done paying some bills.
Hey, let's go, guys. Introducing a new discovery on the NASDAQ, Worksport, ticker WKSP. Worksport is a U.S.-based manufacturer and rapidly expanding and growing revenues, government contracts, and innovative green energy products designed to power your life off-grid. Whether you're on the move or seeking sustainable energy solutions, Worksport has you covered. Now trading on the NASDAQ under WKSP. Discover the future of clean energy with Worksport, guys. There it is. Click that link in the description or scan that QR code. That's one thing that I know, that everything has a QR code these days, so it makes everything a lot more simplistic. And here we go. We're getting that pop on Google, Sharif, exactly what we needed. Let's go. Slowly climbing higher. Let's see if we can break through some of these levels and get this. Oh, my days. My God. You know what we forgot?
What? The Playmaker
The
poll?
Playmaker.
Oh,
I don't even know if we should take it now because we're so far out, but we'll take it anyways just because we're that guy. So
let me set up.
We're going to set up here briefly, and we're going to get involved in the Playmaker and see what we got going on. So what do you think about hood calls into earnings? Hood calls into earnings, I don't know, Steph. We can take a look at Hood in a brief second, but you ready there, my guy?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's go.
684.
684 cents.
We're taking everything out. Stop loss, 599.84.
599.84.
Which sucks because that's above VWAP. And then we're going to take it out at 602.84 profit target.
602.84. There we go, guys. 38 data points. Insane. We like that.
Not bad, man.
Yeah, that's really good. 118. A little late on that one, so that might affect us a little bit. Let's see what we got going on. Feb 4th, and 100 shares. There it goes. Here's the equity curve, looking really good so far on the Playmaker. Congratulations to all, and to all a good.
Yeah, we're a little bit.
Yeah. But okay, guys. What was I going to look at here real quick? Hood. Yes, I'll pull up Hood, and then I'm going to send it back off to Sharif. And see what we got going on. Swinging some calls into Hood earnings. Does Robinhood report this evening? I'm not too sure. So okay, well, I mean, hey, look at this. All-time highs here. We'll find out real quick to see if Robinhood reports.
I'm waiting to load.
Yeah, for sure. So he's looking. Yeah. So here we go, guys. Near the all-time highs on this thing. So I think like this thing went through a lot of controversy, especially with that GameStop era. But now recovering a lot of those losses. So here's Robinhood at those all-time highs. You're gonna want some good numbers. Holding calls through, I mean, it's nothing crazy. If you get that pop, you can always lock in those gains by just shelling shares if you have that capital in your account. So that's one thing that Max taught me, and how to lock in gains on contracts without having to execute the contracts after hours because it's more difficult. Maybe we'll talk a little bit more about that right after we get back from Madeira.
Next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday.
Yep.
We have news here, and it's about NVIDIA. So NVIDIA here announcing that CoreWeave, which is an AI-related company that is backed by NVIDIA, apparently has here launched their first NVIDIA GP200 NVL72 cloud-based instances. So NVIDIA's backed CoreWeave, apparently launching these NVIDIA GB200 chips. Just be aware of that. Interesting look here for NVDA, not doing too much. But also, while we're here, I want to debut our newest TTV Research original graphic. This one's on Snapchat here, using the snap colors, that bright yellow, that white, and the black. And this is basically look here at their net losses. Almost every quarter since they reported, it didn't include their first quarter ever because the loss was so severe that it was skewing the rest of the data. But they did here with their first report lose $2.2 billion in one quarter. So they've recovered a lot since then. Make sure to check out this chart. We also have their growth for their global daily active users per quarter, as well as some context for a lot of these quarters. So check this out on X, TTV Research. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. Back to you.
All right, baby, we're taking prints here on NVVE. I think we're long 9s. It just broke through 40s. I'm looking to take the next beak wetter at the $0.50. Get it, Adara. I appreciate you. Let's see if we get that print above the $0.50. Some size showing up on NVVE. at the $0.50. We'll see if this one can keep going. We're up 68% and change over here. It's a good look on this name. I had a couple of dip trades that went unfilled. I had one at 405s, and I had one a skosh below 4 in case this one wicked below 4, then rocketed back up. Here's the $0.50. There goes the $0.50. I still went unprinted though. So the high of the day right now, technically 455. I was waiting at 55s. I'm waiting at 55s, but it's got to cross for me to get that print. That's what we call the spread. So make sure you're accounting for that when you trade these monsters, because they don't hang around in the price level for all that long. We're still doing the dance with no pants right now at the $0.50 level. The Katina man just sat down. That looks like a good salad there, brother. How was the swim?
I didn't do swimming.
He didn't do swimming. He did weights. Bang! We're spending the money for the Katina man there for doing weights. Shout out to the Katina man. We're going to always shout him out every time he does weights. Get it, Katina man. And we're going to keep a look here at 455, Joseph, for that NVVE print. Not forthcoming.
Yeah, here we go with some Google guys. Held on to this one now, starting to push through and creating that little high and breaking through that resistance level that we were looking at. Let's see if the market can start to rebound here. It's looking like we might. NVDA hovering around below, the volume weighted average price. But I always mention that elastic effect. And here we go, bang, Sharif.
Yes, sir.
Google is really starting to move here, looking really good with a high of over $206 on the session. Printing all-time highs is Google. And this thing might even soar high, another higher. Speaking of Google, you know what we're going to do right now as well too, Sharif, is options. There we go, expected move. We're going to look at the expected move on Google.
Goggles?
On Goggles. I'm going to pull it up right here and see what we got going on from a percent metric and see what the options market is pricing in on Google. And then we're going to take a look at the chain as well too, folks. What do you got cooking up over there, my guy?
We took the printout there on NVVE through the $0.50 and please this dang punch. And look at the future go, baby. We're still holding on a piece here. Where are we long? We're long 82.43. It's showing me 83.20s. Let's see if we can weasel on up. I've been waiting, baby. I've been waiting for 21,625 to get taken on a decisive basis. We're above it right now. Do we hold up above it? I'm talking about the NQ March contract. I'm charting on the NQ March contract, and I'm executing on the TQQs, the levered product. Yeah, I took it a page out of your book, baby. Get it, Katina man. Katina man is always taking futures trades on the TQQs, and we're going to take a page out of his book today. So we're looking for that move above 21,625. It's at 31s right now, guys. It's got a higher low and it's got a higher high. So here's the low I'm looking at. There's the higher low. There's the high, and here's the higher high. So can we continue to move up? We got a high day at 21,694. I'll submit to you that that's essentially a 700 rejection, seeing as how close it got to 21.7. So if we can work our way back into 21.7, well, then this would be a hell of a trade. We're going to keep an eye out right now on the TQQs and see if we can print a little bit more to the high side there. Guys, NVIDIA is at the volume weighted average price right now, and we've been seeing weakness on NVIDIA for a hot minute. Today is the same look. NVDA. It's up 2%, but it was trading for below VWAP for the majority of the afternoon. I think we gave up VWAP at 5 to 12. Here we are at 125, and this is the first time we've even glanced at VWAP since basically a little bit before lunchtime. So here we are. As I mentioned, I'm looking at this $119 a quarter area to a third as resistance. Well, why am I looking there? Well, VWAP happened to be in and around there. And then also look at the consolidation area low on the descending wedge. We had lower highs, lower highs, lower highs with that flat bottom. And then we got what everybody loves, that flat bottom break through the volume weighted average price. But here we go. We're curling right back into that key area of technical, this time resistance, previously support. We'll have to see if it acts as a resistance this time. But NVIDIA, Joseph, working its way back above 19, working its way back above the volume weighted average price, and it's about to take out that consolidation area low. We're going to have to wait and see here. NVIDIA catching a bid right now to the high side. Let's see how this bad boy trades. What's on your side of the desk, my man?
Yeah, we still got Google going on here, guys, and I mentioned that we're going to take a look at the expected move. So about a 6% EM there, the options markets got priced in, and then sure enough, we want to pull up the chain and see where the most open interest as of right now is, and that's sitting at that 215 strike price with just under 10K open contracts. So that's something that we're going to look for. I think that we can get to that 215 price target on Google, especially if it decides to rally on that announcement print, on that report print. So here we go, 6% move, most open contracts at that 215 strike price on the call side. As for the put side, nothing crazy, nothing standoutish other than 195. So that's what I'm going to be looking for is 215, excuse me, on goggles there, guys. So yeah, continue to let me know what you are looking at in the chat. We're going to hold on to this position, see if we can come and test this high day without put us around 206.90-ish, I believe. So hold on, we're going to have to be a little patient on this one, and that's totally fine because what is working, we just got to continue to let work until it says, hey, we're ready to turn around in price and then maybe take a different direction in this underlying asset. So yeah, PayPal, let's take a look at PayPal. I know a lot of people in the chat are looking at that as well, and we're going to pull it up just now, PYPO, and see what we got going on. Did we start to bounce off of those lows? Pull up the 5-minute. Yeah, I mean, we're holding the lows not too bad. But again, this thing's really weak for some reason. I know a lot of people are like, why is it so weak? And I don't know if it has to do with transactions or anything along those lines. But here you go. We can only dig so much into it, and we can't manipulate the price or anything along those lines. So we just got to follow where the price action goes, and that is to the downside on PYPL. So that is PayPal, guys, for the session. And also let me know what else you guys are looking at. Here we go, Google continuing to climb, so maybe we'll start to trim a little bit more up here. And see, oh, here we go. Now we're really moving here, Katina, man. Continuing to just really roar to the top side. That volume is starting to pick up on that 5-minute time frame, which is really important for breakouts. So here we go. I think it's only a matter of time at this pace that this thing tests the high day. As the SPY continues to crawl higher and higher as well, too. Not too far off the high day as well. But we got the Qs, so kind of lagging its peer here, still hovering around the volume-weighted average price, which is totally fine. But we've seen that strength in XLE and XLF today. So that's where you can see that the SPY is slightly stronger than the Qs. Let's take a look at, I haven't really looked at Tesla too much today. I don't think that this thing is overly in play to the top side. I mean, from a bear standpoint, if you want to classify it as that. But if we look at it from a daily perspective, we're near some key support levels. And as of right now, it's not looking like we're going to get those key bounces. So here it is, really consolidated price action here, trading within this specific range. I mean, as the stock starts to appreciate, that average true range will as well too, guys. So that's why the range may be a little bit more wider than what it usually is, and that's okay. But as of right now, this is Condor-esque type price action here, guys. So let's see what we got going on from a high and then a low, and see if that's even worth to construct here from an intraday standpoint. I was watching some videos the other day on some 0 DTE condors and how they can work, and they were interesting because I usually do weekly, Sharif. But the 0 DTE condor is something that I definitely might look to get involved in. And you can only use a certain amount of vehicles, because not every underlying asset has 0 DTE. So you're looking at the likes of SPY and Qs. Those are ones for sure. And Tesla might as well too. Sorry, let me pull up Tesla to see what we got going on.
Yes, sir.
Does it have it? I'm pretty sure it does. No, it doesn't. So no 0 DTE on Tesla. So for me, it's just like the likes of the Qs and the SPY for that style of trading. And that's just market neutral strategies, essentially. So you're looking for the stock price or the underlying asset to stay within a specific range. And that's what the Iron Condor is. So yeah, we'll get involved in those maybe eventually. But again, Apple pretty strong today still, Sharif, hovering around that high day as well.
Sir.
231 and change is Apple. And yeah, Google continuing to climb higher.
Cameron Lum, he asks, or she, I don't know, because it's kind of both, and you get. So what's the expected move on AMD? So I was just about to get into that right now, so we can go to my screen if we're able to, guys. Alphabet, the expected move on Google, we're looking for 6.5%. Last time around, we got 2.9% to the high side. So definitely the expected move this time a lot wider, a lot more aggressive than what we got last time. Below that, AMD, we're expecting about a 9.1% move plus or minus. Last time, we definitely exceeded that, down 10.6%. AMD got whooped last time. And then we've got others. We've got some good ones. So here's what we've got time-wise. AMD, we're expecting this one at 4:15. Google, we're expecting at 4:05. Snapchat, in between those, 4:10. Then we got Chipotle also coming out at 4:10. And ENPH, I haven't seen this person in the chat lately, but Reliable Rudy always, you remember him, Adara, Enphase, would always talking about Enphase, 4:05. We're expecting that today. Amgen as well, 4 o'clock, right as the bell rings. Electronic Arts, which came out, if you guys remember, I think a few weeks ago, front running their earnings report saying that they weren't going to do that well. I guess maybe FIFA, they changed it to Soccer FC or Football FC or whatever the hell it is. I don't know why they dropped the FIFA name, maybe probably naming rights. And as well as some other game. Fabian, what's that other game that Electronic Arts has that they're kind of dropping the ball on? That was, remember, the one that we were talking about last time? And you said they kind of went the other way with it? Okay, maybe he'll remember in a sec. Juniper as well, Joseph. We've got that one coming out at 4:15. So we've got a banger of a show for you on today in the market recap. Again, want to remind you, it's going to be the trio. It's going to be myself, the Katina Man, and Adara today on the market recap show. We're going to be covering AMD, Google. Get it, Randy. Randy's looking. He likes it. You like what you see, Randy? I mean, like, we got a couple of earnings bangers there at the end. So hopefully Randy will be pleased.
Age.
Oh, he's coming on.
Dragon Age?
I like this.
Is it Dragon Age?
What's that?
The game that you guys were talking about,
I don't
Dragon
know.
Age?
I'm not sure exactly, but we got to throw it to Adara in a second. But you and I, we're chuckling off camera. Maybe we'll get to chuckle and actually talk about what we were talking about on camera. No? All right, all right. Check out Lulu, Canadian company.
Take a look at Lululemon, I guess, there. Thank you very much to Randy, always enjoying these cameos. And right now we're going to take a look here at the U.S. dollar. This has not been a great week for the U.S. dollar, and I put the 15-minute chart up here because I think this really shows the kind of struggles we've had. And initially, we had a massive gap up. This is so Monday here. We have this gap up, kind of we push lower. Today, we gap up as well, and we push higher, and then we go to the downside. And why is that? Well, we came into the week expecting tariffs here starting as of Saturday for both Mexico and Canada, as well as China. Then Mexico here, midday yesterday, we have Mexico saying, hey, you know what, we actually talked to Donald Trump. We're not going to have these tariffs anymore, or at least they're going to be delayed for a month. Then Justin Trudeau, post-market, announced that he and Trump also talked. And we're going to have another delay here for tariffs for Canada as well. So both Canada and Mexico having their tariffs delayed by 1 month. We have no word on China yet. So I think that's of note. Fitch here, this is the credit rating agency, they also said they're a little bit worried now about the state of U.S. trade because of these tariffs. I think it makes it a little bit cautious. We're going to have to keep an eye on that, of course. But it's worth noting they have said here that it's specifically not a trade war. So Donald Trump's trade advisor has said this is actually not a trade-related issue. They're calling it a drug issue and not a trade issue. So that's pretty interesting. We'll have to see how this comes to fruition because we know that Donald Trump and Xi are set to meet, quote, very soon. We don't know when that is, but if I find anything out, I'll let you guys know. The other interesting thing here with regards to the U.S. dollar and currency in the market as a whole, Fed Chair Powell now has his time here, or scheduled time for a semi-annual monetary policy report here with the Senate. That's going to be February 11th. That is a Tuesday. I will give you guys all the deets on that February 11th. Stay tuned for that report from Fed Chair Powell, where he gets grilled a little bit by that Senate committee. Back to you.
Appreciate that, Adara. Yeah, interesting look right now. I'm keeping an eye on the future. I want to let you guys know the Katina Man's long 119.08 on NVIDIA. He's already in the money on that. We're going to shout out the Katina Man. He comes in, he sees the VWAP break, he likes what he sees, and then we're basically that's that. So Sean back from the gym, and he's long NVDA. Good day for today for NVIDIA, 2 1/3. I mean, it's not at the highs, but at least it's up on the day. It's been a tough little while for NVIDIA. All right, guys, we threw out the poll earlier on, but we only have 658 votes, and I'm not really sure what's up with that because you have SMCI on there, and SMCI's put in a nice move on the day, 7.5%. We got ETH recovering from the depths of hell. bouncing back into, I think, 2,700 or 2,800 right now, Katina, man, up 4.5%, despite the fact that Bitcoin still trading down. So ETH, and we saw Eric Trump to take to X yesterday, I was going to say Twitter, and he's like, in my opinion, we should be buying ETH here, so make of that what you will. AMD, the monster, reports after the bell today. Up 40 or it's 45%, but selected by you guys on PayPal. The earnings loser. I hesitate to say that because I didn't see a whole lot wrong with the report, but nonetheless, it's down on the day, 26%. So guys, get into the chat. Have your say every day, baby, during that lunch hour or that midday time slot that we're on, and determine what the big kahunas look at through that 2 to 2:30 time slot. They'll give you their opinion on it, and if they trade it, they'll show you how and why, and if they didn't, they'll give you their look, why they didn't trade it or how they would have. So that, to me, is important information, and I know if I was a viewer, I'd be participating in that chat every day to try to get the Katina Man and the Neil to look at my tickers. Joseph.
Yeah, someone in the chat asked us to take a look at the Snapchat expected move. I'm not sure you
I got
that
it.
over. Yeah, I got it as well too. About 17%, 17.3%. What do you got on it for that?
Let's look over here.
I said 6% for Google, and you said 6.4, so relatively close.
Same thing, yeah. Let's load up this bad boy. I got the side chart over here. Here we go. What's going on over there, Katina Man? The Katina Man's 45 cents in the money, and it's breaking through that $0.50. So that's a good look there, Katina Man. That's a nice breakout there and to take a VWAP. Shout out to the Katina Man. What we're expecting, Joseph, is an 18.6% move, and we got something similar to that. We got 16% last time.
On the last move? Okay. So
yeah, we got 15.9 to the upside.
Yep.
So it was an earnings surprise, if I'm not mistaken. Fact check me, chat, but I'm pretty sure we were expecting worse than anticipated ad revenues for Snapchat, and what we got was the exact opposite. We got better than expected ad revenues. I want to see if they can do that quarter over quarter. Because, the other guys are. Meta's killing it on ad revenue. We already know that. Google, we'll find out. We'll find out tonight, obviously. I'm assuming they're probably going to kill YouTube itself on its own is insane. So we're going to find out what Snap has to say with respect to that. This is breaking out, Katina Man, and it's taking the futures with it, and more pleased I could not be, because we're almost $1 in the money on this futures trade, Katina Man. I do appreciate that, so we're going to put the beak wetter right at that $1. So we're going to need you to punch in a few more 100 shares of NVIDIA, Katina Man, to bump up the future so we can get that print. But the futures are headed to the high side, baby. We're about to take out 21,650, Joseph. Good look right now, my man. What do you got on that side of the desk?
Yeah, same thing. Still holding on to this Google, looking for that bounce once again. As NVDA continues to climb higher, we got a little bit involved in this as well, too, guys. So let's see what we got cooking up. Oh, and I accidentally flipped there on IBIT as well, so that's okay. Let's see if that thing's going to break as well, because it's starting to run into some key resistance zones. But here you go on NVDA, continuing to climb higher, up about 2.5% on the session so far. So really strong recovery here. I was telling you guys I grabbed some at 118 last night. Let's see if we can add into this strength here on NVDA. But also let's take a look at IBIT one more time and see what we got going on. Let's see if we can break through this resistance zone and that volume and that momentum step in to this underlying asset, because as of right now, it is just moving to the east, and that is not necessarily something that I would want to see right now. And then also, let's see what we got cooking on with the Google trade as well, to see if we can hold on to this, or we're going to get stopped out break even, which would put us around that 204.91. Is that around that 204.88. And if that, then we'll get our Dodge, reassess the situation, and see what is going on from them. But guys, I know a lot of people in the chat were asking me to take a look at UPS, and sure enough, we will. United Parcel. Really tough look here, especially after that earnings announcement on UPS. But I mean, this could be somewhat of a good signal. Are we ready to turn around? Maybe not just yet. But I do like this hammer print from a daily perspective. So any more sell side, I'm still going to look for the continuation of UPS, maybe to the downside, but those turnaround signals will appear, and then we can go topside. But we got some ad reads.
Yes, sir. Newer traders, listen up. First month, it's free. That's right. We're waiving fees. You get to trade smarter, not harder, by upgrading to that elite trading experience. You can analyze. You can strategize, and hopefully after all that, you'll be able to capitalize using the best platform. I'm talking about eSignal. If you haven't already guessed, it's got everything. Infinite data, instant trading, lightning fast market insights, and it's also got game-changing charts. You just saw them on my screen. Predict with excellent back testing. They're reliable, real-time data, global markets literally at your fingertips, all in one platform. Don't miss out. Execute your best trades now. Or if you're ready to elevate your trading, then scan that QR code on the bottom right of your screen or go into the video description for that link. Shout out to the great folks there at eSignal. Let's move on back into, this is RCAT, but I want to look at NVVE. Oh, here we go. So now I've got a couple of dip trades right now that are no longer valid on NVVE. So I'm taking them both off. And why are they no longer valid? Because I base my trades with these small cap gappers based upon VWAP. And this is trading below VWAP by about 15 pennies. It's on a $4 name. So the volume weighted average price on NVVE is at 4.25. We're showing 407s. So I did have a couple of dip trades to front run 4, but that's when VWAP was a little bit lower than where it is right now. You'll be able to see that black line. That's why I got there initially at 410. So if this one wants to reclaim VWAP and trade above 4.25, NVVE is the one I'm talking about. I'll absolutely be persuaded to get back into it, but at the moment, it is trading below VWAP. It's also below the 10 exponential. So that's not the look for me. Let's see if it uses 4 as support and then bounces right back up. So that's what I am thinking about there. What else we got over here? Let's have a look at the MAG. See what they're up to, if there's anything moving over here. So Amazon, I mean, I really feel I got to do better with that. Amazon, I wanted that VWAP trade, and then I just got distracted, and there it is. Now you got about $1 off that VWAP trade. So Amazon's good right now in the fact that it bounced off VWAP. What I'm kind of concerned about with Amazon is a couple of things. Number one, we have selling at this $0.75 level. We saw that. That was the area crest before. 241.80, 241.75. So we're about to take that level out right now, if we do take it out. So it's a local area of resistance. In addition to that area of resistance, we've had lower highs all throughout. So we could change that with this area over here breaking through this area. So Amazon looks like it's destined here to take 242. Or so it seems, because it's not really giving up the ghost, and it's basically trading at the higher end of this candle, not moving back down. In addition to Amazon bouncing off VWAP, Meta just took out the high of the day, 707.48 META. Good look for Meta. It was also putting in lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, with also lower lows. So it looked like a bull flag, kind of, you know, with a downward channel. Then you got the break of this line. You know, Neil draws these trend lines, and he looks for the breaks of these trend lines, and I think he would have gotten a break through about that 704.5, give or take. So Meta also on the way up here. I'm keeping an eye on Apple. Apple seems very consolidative, below 232. It's a little bit above 232, a little bit below 232 right now, the dead one Apple. It's got, you know, some support over here at this 231.50. That's the area crest. We've largely defended that 231.50 the majority of the afternoon. On the other side of the coin, so that's the bullish side. The bearish side is we're putting in lower highs, kind of like we were doing on Amazon, kind of like we were doing on Meta. The only thing is, though, this one's not popping up to try to test the highs. In fact, it's trading at the lower end of the range. So we're going to keep tabs on that. AAPL in focus, obviously, as we watch for what could be a wider trade war, tariff war. So that's a look there. Yeah, I've got nothing else, Joseph. I mean, I'm keeping an eye here on NVVE. It's broken down below VWAP, so I'm happy I cleaned up my orders at that level because that was no longer valid, those dip trades that we had. So NVVE is really giving up the ghost here. It's below 4. It's taking out the 20 exponential moving average as well. So it's really dropping down. The one that's really holding up is one that Pretty Panda brought to my attention earlier in the show and that I never had a trade on. It's ATAI. It's not the biggest mover on the day. It's only up 23 and change. But look at this. I mean, this is beautiful, right? Sequentially higher highs, higher lows. You pull it up, you take it. I mean, you get a dip trade on the pullback, and then, you know, within 5-10 minutes, you're in the money on this one. It had a good day yesterday as well, so it's a continuation play. That's the move yesterday. We were trading at around $1.50. when we began the day. By the end of the day, we're trading just below $2 at $1.85. That $2 level's in the rearview mirror now, baby, because we're up at 2 2/3. So ATAI, second day play, good day continuation today. It's not the biggest mover again, but a nice predictable upward channel, higher highs and higher lows. BKSY is one that we had on as a trade. I'm negative on this one, despite my best efforts to pick it up off VWAP. This one breached VWAP, it breached the 50, so I don't feel too bad about how I execute on this trade because it didn't hold up any of my levels. So it's not like I breached my rules and gave in to FOMO. This one just didn't hold up in the way that I expected, and that's fine. You can't win them all. So that's the look there. RCAT as well had a good trade on this one, but we took it out at 69s, and now it's printing 79. So RCAT looking like it wants to trade it possibly back into that high of the day. That high of the day is 986, and we're showing 979. So we could be at that high of the day quick as you like. RCAT as well, Joseph's had a couple of good days under its belt. It had a good day yesterday after a bit of a tougher day on Friday. What is going on this side of the desk, my man?
Yes, sir. So, yeah, guys, let's take a look at some of the top-performing stocks here from a volume standpoint. And with that, we have Palantir taking the crown today with $84 million. Pardon me?
No, the Katina man's pumped. Anytime he hears Palantir, he's like, hey.
Palantir, Palantir up with 100. Well, no, it is up, but I mean 184 million shares traded, and then NVDA with 167 million shares traded. So sitting in second place there, and then Pfizer surprisingly with 46.4 million shares traded. So taking that third place there, guys. With those are the three top volume stocks of the session. With obviously regards to my scanner, there are probably some more small caps with a little bit more volume, but anything over $20 and under 1,000, those are the top three thus far. But Sharif, I want to talk. Did you know that
what happened?
Terrence, Bud Crawford, and Canelo is confirmed for Vegas? I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so that's going to be.
I didn't get information on that. Are you for real?
So yeah, the negotiations are almost finished on that one. So yeah, going to be looking forward to that fight. That's going to be a good one.
When are we talking here?
September.
I think Bud destroys him.
Yeah, so do I. I think Bud too.
I have a lot of respect for Canelo.
Of course.
What he's done in his career, how many guys can say that they've done that? So I just want to preface that so you guys don't say I'm a Canelo hater. But number one, he's out of his prime.
He's out of his prime.
And Bud is a monster.
He's a monster.
Bud is a monster.
This is the case, and this brings you back to the Dark Knight quote there. When an unmovable object meets an unstoppable force, let's see what happens here with that fight. So looking forward to that one.
Where is that? That's from wrestling, bro. Isn't that like?
I just remember it from
isn't
Dark
that
Knight.
Hulk Hogan versus Ultimate Warrior in Toronto WrestleMania 6?
Is that what
Neil,
they did?
isn't
Neil
that
would
what
know
they?
that one.
Wasn't it? They might have taken it from somebody. Okay, that's probably what it was. Yeah.
So I like that one there, but I mean, I wouldn't remember WrestleMania with Hulk Hogan and the Warriors. So.
I don't think you were born, bro.
I probably was not.
It was 1990. You're born in 92, so no.
2 years later, no, I was officially not born at that time. So, yeah. Like that quote as well, 2NY. 2NY, I haven't seen you for a while. Where you been, my guy? And then I need money, but about to beat the brakes off that boy.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Right. I think so, too. But, yeah, looking forward to that. Yeah, I think I'm looking forward to that one. He's a monster. He's probably one of the best boxers there. So
love watching that guy.
Yeah, it's going to be a good fight there. So that's a hangover. I love Bud, but Canelo.
Gatorman. Sorry, I love Bud. But Canelo will take anything. Bud has to really, that's a statement. I respect your opinion. I wholeheartedly disagree. I think Bud will absolutely will beat up Canelo. And I don't think that that's an easy thing to do because the only time we've seen Canelo beat up was Bivol. He did have a couple of tough fights with Gennady, which Gennady, you got to put some respect on that guy's name. I mean, he's a hell of a guy, but I think Bivol was just a bigger man, taller.
Yeah, and more technical, right?
Yeah.
Like there's holes in Canelo's game, and he just exploited them. So yeah, I like Dimitri Bivol. Looking forward to Bivol Beaterbev 2. That's going to be a really interesting fight.
Bivol, Bivol's wife?
No.
Heard about that?
No, what happened?
I'll let you Google it.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'll let you Google it.
Oh, he was with her for a while, and then she tried to take all his stuff or something?
Not even, bro. She was like rooting for him to like get knocked out.
Oh,
and
yeah?
stuff like that. It was ugly.
That's not
it was
very
ugly.
nice. That's
Yeah,
very
yeah.
nice of her. But yeah, guys, let's see what else we got going on. Holding on to this NVDA. See if we can get this pop to 120. If not, then it is what it is. It's not going to cry over spilt milk. When is this happening to NY? It's in September. September somewhere in Vegas, the fight is apparently planned for. So, yeah, I don't know if it's an easy win there, Steve Duran, especially because Bud's, like a lot of people underestimate his power, right? And he's moving up a couple weight classes, so he doesn't have to cut weight. So it's just a transition of the cardio now. So looking forward to that one. I think it's going to be an absolute banger. And there's some big UFC fights coming up as well, too. My guy Sean Strickland versus Dricus Duplessis. Yeah, so for all my UFC fans, I know there's a lot of UFC people in the chat as well, too. So that's going to be a fight I'm looking for. I think Sean Strickland won the first fight. You guys let me know about that. But Dricus is an absolute monster as well, too. Just moves forward, guys. But yeah, okay. One thing that is really like kind of mind-boggling right now is that one of the stronger tech stocks today, Sharif, is AMD, continuing to climb higher, up to about 118 and change here, is Advanced Micro Devices. It's so hard not to say money destroyer because it just seems to be its name right now. But we took a look at it from a daily perspective earlier, and we're still over 50% off of those highs. So in order for this thing to even get back to break even, you need 100% return on this thing. So that's my opinion on AMD. I think this earnings call is going to be a really big one. And let's see what you guys are saying in the chat here about some of these fights. So I know some people say Sean won the first one, which is really interesting.
Here it is.
Won. Yeah, there you go. So,
Turkey Al-Sheikh's doing it, which, surprise, surprise. But what's funny is that Turkey and Canelo had a bit of beef. Because Canelo kept asking for ridiculous amounts of money, and Turkey's like, we can't make that happen. You're only asking for ridiculous amounts of money because you don't want to fight.
Yeah, you
and
don't.
So Turkey was calling him out on that. So here it is, Joseph. He's moving up 2 weight classes. They're fighting at 168, super middleweight. So Terrence, who last fought Joseph at 154, who had already jumped into junior middleweight from junior middleweight, or you can call it super welterweight. They're interchangeable. From welterweight at 147. So he had already moved up a weight class in his last fight. Now he's moving up 2. So he's moving up to 168. He's not even fighting at 160. That's middleweight. So he's moving up to super middleweight. And that's going to be likely, Joseph, as you said, on my mommy's birthday there, September 13th.
Oh, man.
Yeah. It's going to be a good look there. They're finalizing the deal, apparently. We're going to have to wait and see. It's going to be in Vegas, as you mentioned. I'm going to be super pumped about this. It's going to be in the Allegiant Stadium. Home the Raiders. What? They're not even doing it in T-Mobile Stadium?
Crazy.
I thought they were going to do it in T-Mobile.
They usually do those big fights in T-Mobile.
No, not anymore. We're getting the big boy stadium here.
Stadium. That's insane. And outdoor.
This is going to be beautiful.
Outdoor about there. So
it feels like way too long away. Bud's undefeated, bro. 41-0 with 31 KOs. Unreal. The dude's nuts. So I think a lot of Bud, obviously, and I think a lot of Canelo as well. But I just don't think it's. We'll see. Maybe Canelo holds some of the weight better.
Do you remember Canelo's first deal with DAZN? It was like 300 or something million for 8.
I do remember that. How many
for like
fights?
8 fights or something?
Yeah, I remember this. I remember this.
That's ridiculous, man. 300 sheets.
Bro,
for
DAZN came into Canada, outbid Rogers, outbid Bell, just took the Premier League from them. It's like, what are you going to do?
What are you going to do, man?
Right? So they got money to throw around.
Of course.
Right? So clearly DAZN is... weight is a factor, says Paul H. You're not wrong there, my man. Obviously, Canelo... he fought at 175 against Bivol? He fought at light heavyweight.
Yeah,
so he did fight at 175.
Yeah.
So I think, obviously, Canelo probably has a lot more experience in those weight classes. 168's a step down, but I will submit to you probably a more natural weight for Canelo to fight at as opposed to 175. So
what do you think? What do you think these guys are getting paid for these fights?
We're gonna have to wait.
I can't wait to see the.
Turkey's been throwing around money though.
I can't wait to see these purses are going to be like 8.
No, Turkey Al-Sheikh, not Turkey the country. Do you watch boxing? Yeah, then you won't know who this guy is. He's a Saudi Arabian promoter, and he's been throwing around that Saudi money. He's been dropping that Arab money.
These guys are making eight figures for this fight.
8 figures?
Yeah, easily,
Probably.
easily.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I can totally see that.
Plus a share of the pay-per-views. Right?
Is that what they're offering shares of pay-per-views right now? That's a move?
Yeah. So,
Yeah, it's going to be insane. September 13th, Randy. I don't know if you're not interested, obviously, in boxing, but that's what we're talking about. Yeah, it's going to be a great fight. We got one of the better fighters of the generation right now. Terrence Crawford, middleweight. You know, he's going to be putting his belt on the line that he took, I think, from this Israel Madrivov guy. Israel Madrivov. He beat him last time, title-winning effort. That was at 154. So, yeah, that's a look there. Big Randy, bless us with a car tip.
Yeah, bless us.
You got anything for us before you leave? Blessed. Yeah. It wasn't stated. MB3 would like a tip for cars. I don't know. Maybe a nice model to look out for, something you're hearing maybe possibly within your circles that we could talk about.
The only thing that caught my eye on the weekend.
Can we get the mic possibly, or if that's okay? Just so that the production team doesn't...
I don't think it comes all the way over here, does it?
Oh, it's mobile, baby.
Oh, that one there. Yeah, that one's not mobile. That one's not going to come all the way.
Katina Man's going to bring... the Katina Man's giving his mic. Yes, here we go. Bro sporting a Jensen jacket. You're getting love from the chat. They're calling that the Jensen jacket.
Jensen jacket.
Yeah, I think it's a good look there. Derek is giving it a round of applause as well.
Channeling the inner Jen.
I don't know.
All right, Randy.
We're wired.
We're wired.
I think.
Oh, baby, that
Are we good?
smells really good, that coffee, by the way.
He's good to go.
I got it. You're good. You're good, Randy. Production
The only
team
thing
did
that caught my attention on the weekend was the new 2025 Corvette ZR 1.
I saw this.
1,064
Core
63 horsepower.
No way.
Yeah, it's insane. There's another Z, right? Z24.
No.
This is like, I know, but there's two types of Z, right?
Well,
this one's got more horsepower
This
than
is
the
the
other
top of. I
Yeah.
guess it's hypercar territory, and it's 200 and yeah.
Look at that.
What? Hello, thank you, GM. I mean, this will be the last high horsepower ICE car we probably ever. Yeah, like it just zero to insane, and
Zero to insane real quick.
and it's not that expensive.
Is that good for a quarter mile, Randy? Like, I don't know quarter mile times. I know 0 to 60, 9.6. Is that good?
Yeah,
That's ridiculous,
I
right?
mean, so the last kick of the can for the ICE generation, we'll call it, of hypercars, but this is not this is like, whoa. And the price was less than 160 grand. Like, what? I was like, terribly surprised. Big nod to GM that they can pull off something like this. Again, the last probably, yes, the E-Ray is out, the electric
the yellow, though.
Corvette.
Yeah. This
Joe,
has got.
Joe, you can get it in any color you want.
Hold on,
got the
Randy.
Dodge, any
This
color
is
you
a
want.
hybrid, right? They got an electric motor in this, or is it naturally aspirated? Or
Believe.
don't they usually throw hybrids on these things to boost up the torque now? Here it is. So this is handmade because it's got. That's very unusual for GM, right? To do handmade engines.
You know what? I don't know how many they're going to sell, but I was. Again, I'll give my nod to GM for putting out something like this. This is unbelievable.
This is like hypercar territory.
Well, your
right?
Bugatti territory. Like, this is amazing what they've done. And like I said, this is kind of the end of the ICE generation. Corvette's been around since forever, and just a really cool tribute to a lot of
ridiculous.
1,064 horsepower.
Ridiculous, bro.
So yeah, it caught my attention on the weekend. I was just browsing, and
we only got a minute left, Randy. So I want to get your opinion on this. A lot of people talk. I'm talking about a lot of people. Is Doug DeMoro? That's really my source for this.
Love Doug.
Doug's amazing. Randy, he's saying that right now, Ferrari, who reported earnings today, who did well. Some of these people who are going to Ferraris expecting an entry level, or that have only bought one Ferrari, we know how Ferrari works. To get to the top level, you got to buy multiple and then work your way up. They're being offered, I forget the name of it, but basically Ferrari right now, the demand for it apparently is down. I don't know what you're hearing about this. They're offering people with one Ferrari a very high-end Ferrari that they typically wouldn't have offered you if you had only bought one Ferrari so far.
I mean, sales are everything. Once you're in the club, yes, you work your way up the ladder. So, if you've bought a brand new one off the lot or you order one in the past, Lamborghini works this way too.
Yep.
No, I don't. This is how you get into the game. And, they're willing to What's wrong with my mic?
You've got Sean's mic.
Oh,
It's
I know.
okay, yeah.
They're willing to move numbers. So good for them. You know what? Again, another nod to the last generation of pure ICE Ferraris. They're moving into the hybrid territory. These cars will be worth a fortune down the road.
They usually do. They hold the wear value
Lamborghinis
amazing.
yeah, exactly.
Ridiculous,
So,
right?
you know what? If you got the dosh to go grab one of those,
I'm going to send you the
Go get
video
one.
that I saw with Doug, because you know he has a podcast now in addition to doing the reviews. So it was on the podcast that he saw. He was riffing with one of the guys that he has on there, and they were talking about this whole Ferrari thing that I was telling you about. So I'd like to get your take on it, but obviously you got to hear it first.
Yeah, I got to see it.
And,
I'll watch it.
I'm definitely
I'll
going to
get
send
back
that
to you.
I appreciate it. All right, guys, it is now 2 o'clock. We're going to give Rainey an opportunity to give the mic back to Sean. But, guys, join us today, Market Recap Show. We're going to have a banger, Adara, myself, and the Katina Man, AMD reports, Google reports, as well as many others. Catch that with us. Joseph and I, though, we'll see you same bat time, same bat time. Take it over, Big Kahunas.
Look, the market might be like it's trying to turn a little bit here, but it's a big day. I know you mentioned Treef just mentioned AMD, Alphabet, Snapchat, Chipotle, and Phase. Like it's going to be a wild one after market, but for now,